It's very important to keep your eyes on your children when they're in water at all times. Even things such as innocuous as a bucket or a bathtub. 1 to 2 inches of water can be dangerous. Children have drowned while parents are replying to a text, checking a fishing line, or applying lotion. So never leave a child alone and unattended, especially when they're in rivers, lakes, ponds, or the ocean. Leaving pets or seniors or any person inside of a vehicle is very dangerous. The ambient temperature outside is usually 30 degrees hotter inside of a vehicle. Many times children are left in vehicles with the air conditioning on, but a car can malfunction and stop, and then you will have a person unattended in a vehicle that may not be able to save themselves, especially if they're older or they're young children. It is a potentially dangerous situation. So there's a differentiation between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat exhaustion can be reversed versus heat stroke. You need to go to an emergency room and have the intervention to help you come back from those symptoms. When someone's experiencing heat exhaustion, they typically have nausea, dizziness, fatigue. They feel muscle cramps, they have abdominal pain. So those can be reversed by finding a shady spot, sipping some water, using ice packs in the armpits or in the groin. When you have heat stroke, the person can't drink or sip water anymore. They are unconscious. They could be having a stroke. They could be having a seizure. It's a very serious situation that can lead to cardiac arrest, and it should be intervened and 911 should be summoned. Hay varias cosas que uno puede hacer para mantenerse refrescado durante una ola de calor, y el mantenerse hidratado es lo más importante. El descansar, el comer comidas ligeras y saludables y evitar bebidas con azúcar o con alcohol, y quizás si uno va a hacer ejercicio, trabajar afuera, hacerlo esto antes de las 10 de la mañana o después de las 4 de la tarde, ya que esas son las horas más calientes del día. También si uno quiere ahorrarse dinero, puede llamar al 311-211 dependiendo dónde vive uno, y revisar con su gobierno local para ver qué lugares de refrescación hay. Muchas veces se usan los centros de recreación o quizás las bibliotecas como lugares donde uno puede refrescarse. Hay que asegurar que está revisando a las personas que trabajan con uno y quizás hasta nuestros vecinos para asegurar que ellos están bien.
Stepping up to celebrate local improvements and heeding the call to keep moving. This was a block party that began with getting some steps in. Councilmember Curran Price and the community took it all in their stride.
Good morning! Good morning.
We're here on Team Boulevard really celebrating the revitalization of this area. We've got new sidewalks, we've got trees, we've put new medians, really encouraging folks to come out and enjoy the open space and clean air.
I'm excited about coming out, walking in the community, around friends and family, and the block party is just the caveat to the day.
We're encouraging folks to walk or to run, to be healthy, to exercise, and to understand the importance of open space. The block party is going to feature games, information for kids and for families. There's going to be some food, and just a real chance to celebrate.
I'm from this area, so to see the city beautified like today, I couldn't help but be a part of what's going on.
I think it's important to walk at my age, to getting out and continuously moving and being involved versus sitting down doing nothing, and just getting older is so important to continue to move.
I rode my bicycle here. I live right down the street, and so I want to really encourage folks to appreciate and enjoy the open space.
So come out, get your body moving. Let's have a great one.
Schools are back this week, but there was just enough time for one more event on summer break. Council members Ulises Hernandez and Isabel Jurado gathered with their local community to help everyone get ready for that return to school.
Today, we are on the border of CD1 and CD14, celebrating our annual Lincoln Heights Backpack Giveaway, where we are giving over 1,200 backpacks out to community and families here in Lincoln Heights, as well as have over 30 resources and organizations here providing access to healthcare, access to food. We're doing everything we can to support our families, and we're doing it in partnership with our neighboring districts.
I want to let all the families and all our students or children know that get ready for school, because our schools are ready for you. Our teachers, your principals, everyone in schools are ready for you to come back and start learning, start connecting and playing with your classmates, and making sure that you're safe. So all the families and parents, I want to let you know that the safest place for your children is inside school. So they will be safe, we will protect them, and everybody's ready for the first day of school.
I know these are hard times and our communities are afraid, and rightly so, but in these moments, getting together and seeing one another and sharing space makes me feel safe, and I hope you all too. No matter what, our community has to continue showing up, and that's what our offices are doing. We're providing backpacks, a safe space. We even have free haircuts down the way, and that's the kind of thing our community members want to feel right now. I know Councilmember Hernandez and I are committed to making sure that you have more safe spaces here in the city of LA, Lincoln Heights, and beyond.
Councilmember Adrien Nazarian breaks ground on new tiny homes. The city marks a clean energy milestone and a top score for LA City's Housing Authority on Section 8. These stories up next on City Beat.
Councilmember Adrien Nazarian has broken ground on new tiny homes in Van Nuys, which he says will add 100 beds and help give unhoused neighbors a path to stability. The 2025 Greater Los Angeles homeless count reported that the unsheltered homeless population in Nazarian's district had decreased by 36% since 2024. According to Nazarian, in the last 8 months, interim shelters and a navigation center in his district have provided services to more than 1,500 individuals and shelter to 866. In addition, Nazarian says the new tiny homes support his goal of helping those living in dangerous conditions and will help residents enjoy a cleaner and safer neighborhood. For more information, visit cd2.lacity.gov. Mayor Karen Bass announced the completion of the Eland Solar Plus Storage Center, one of the largest solar and battery energy storage projects in the country. Eland is the latest addition to LA's clean energy sources from the Barron Ridge Renewable Energy Corridor in Mojave. According to Bass, this center pushes the city's clean energy share above 60%, marking a major milestone in LA's transition to 100% clean energy by 2035. The Eland project can provide enough power to supply more than 250,000 households across LA. For more information, visit mayor.lacity.gov/press. LA City's Housing Authority, known as HACLA, has been awarded a record high rating in the assessment of its Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher program. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, gave the HACLA program top marks in accountability, transparency, and resource utilization. With bonus points added, HACLA attained a score of 102%. According to HACLA, the score represents the above and beyond dedication of its team in administering the Section 8 program. The authority added that Section 8 is a lifeline to over 50,000 low-income Angelenos who might otherwise find themselves out on the street. For more information, visit hacla.org.
Surf's up at Venice Beach. When the ocean calls, Recon Parks wants to make sure everyone can answer. Parasurfing is an all-abilities program that teaches young Angelenos how to paddle out and catch the waves.
Our city and the Play LA program are sponsoring a para surf program for any children that have any type of disability, any type of different ability, and we're trying to promote surfing.
This is Play LA, and this is the Venice Beach. And there's surfing. People are surfing there.
Play LA is all about getting kids from all over the city, all ability, all ages, to come and truthfully just have fun.
Today's event is like surfboarding, because some of the kids think that surfboarding is fun, including me.
When the families come out to Venice Beach or Cabrillo Beach, the kids light up, they have support from our staff. It's a beautiful experience for them because otherwise they wouldn't have access to surfing boards and getting these lessons from our staff.
We're gonna paddle.
They enjoy it, they want to come back over again, and we get repeat kids that do this program more than once.
I love this program. I love this team. This is a really great opportunity to enter the ocean and enter surfing. Surfing has a lot of barriers to entry. It can be an expensive sport. It can be a very intimidating sport. A lot of parents, reach out to us and want their children to feel safe and confident in the ocean, and they might not necessarily have those skills. So being able to pass that on and to see kids having fun safely in the water is just truly the biggest gift of all. It's really important and it saves lives.
First, you gotta get the surfboard, and then you gotta like scorpion legs on the surfboard, paddle, and then like catch the waves. And then you gotta bend your knees so you can balance better.
We want them smiling. That's the most important thing. Smiling, safety, stoked, and it doesn't matter where you at, we will meet you where you need. Getting involved with the families is also really important. We make sure to have a close rapport, check in. Some disabilities are more apparent than others, and we just want to make sure that we're being available to all.
I recommend parents search on our website, laparks.org, to research any type of activities we offer to any type of children with disabilities or without, and they can join in and have these experiences like surfing, which is called parasurfing on our website. And we also offer paddleboarding, we offer swimming, and a variety of other aquatic programs. And they'll see that their kids, once they come out here, even if they're a little scared, they'll enjoy this experience because it's a wonderful experience, and we offer these beautiful, affordable programs to all of the children in Los Angeles.
Play LA is fun, where you make friends, have fun, go surfing on the water.
And the kids certainly are safe, smiling, and stoked. LA's Public Library presented a celebration of Black excellence in honor of Juneteenth and the achievements of African Americans. With something for everyone, it was a day of blessing, learning, culture, and joy.
It's an incredibly special day here at the beautiful historic Central Library in downtown Los Angeles. We are here for June Jubilee, a celebration of Black excellence. I want to lift up our incredible staff who have done such a great job to put together this event, as they have made the program happen in July this year. It's extra special, and we're looking forward to many, many Angelenos coming to Central Library to explore all that we have to offer.
It's important that the library celebrates all cultures, and it does a great job of doing that. And I think here at June Jubilee, you'll find displays like Karen Collins, whose African American Museum of Miniatures shows the history of African American culture. You'll find performances like Jametta Rose and the Voices of Creation, who are bringing joy and happiness and unity to the people of LA. We're here to celebrate Black culture, Black excellence. We started off the day with a libation and a drum ceremony. There's lots more to see, including author presentations, craft activities for people of all ages.
We're going to have the Afro-American quilters, which are going to be on the second floor rotunda. When you walk up on that floor, it's just going to be an amazing sight. to witness all of the African American quilted stories that these women have put together. We are also going to have an amazing Emmy-nominated documentary, Black Barbie. It's going to be happening in the Mark Taper, as well as a discussion panel.
La ciudad de Los Ángeles es una ciudad diversa, es una ciudad de inmigrantes, es una ciudad de personas que se ven diferente, hablan diferentes idiomas, y qué bonito es poder todos nosotros estar juntos, celebrar nuestras diferencias de culturas, de idioma, de cómo nos vemos, y estar todos juntos aprendiendo los unos a los otros de nuestras culturas.
For our community, all of you who are here and will be going through these doors shortly, this is your day, and don't forget, this is your library. It's not my library, it's not the Commission's library, it's not just the Mayor's library, it is your library, and that's why we're here and we exist for you. Not just at Central Library, but all of our branches throughout this amazing city of Angels. To all of you, welcome to June Jubilee. It's going to be a great day. Thank you so much.
Young players stepped up to the plate at a citywide tournament. LA City's Rec and Parks softball and baseball tournament brought 4 neighborhoods to the field, bringing out the best in competition and community pride.
We are excited to host the citywide baseball and softball tournaments today. We have 4 regions represented. That means players from all over the city coming from our recreation centers to compete for a citywide title.
This is extremely important for the kids because it's not every day they get an opportunity like this to play on a nice field like this for the championship for the city. It's a big deal for our community. You know, the parents are very dedicated, a lot of practice throughout the week, and they're able to get somewhere here to the championship, so something that they're going to remember for a long time. It's really positive for them.
We're hosting the baseball softball tournament right now, but we do have year-round sports. You can find out information at laparks.org, where we have 4 different seasons of baseball, basketball, softball, flag football, soccer, and we're increasing and adding programs in new sports at all times because we're also part of the Olympic initiative. So we're trying to make sure that we give opportunities for youngsters to get exposed to new sports and have an opportunity to try out and play things that are new for them.
The kids are able to exercise, to take out all their energy. They play for their parks, they make friends, and this is the culmination of what we have going on for the past 3 months. What it brings to the kids is self-confidence, self-esteem, community pride. We're giving them an opportunity that they're never going to forget.
It is an area of South LA where we want to make sure that we have a lot of alternative actions for young people to participate in and to foster a great path for them when they make choices about what they're going to do with their time. We're here to support that, give them activities to belong to, and we have this happening throughout the city, not just in South LA. So we're happy to always provide that year-round.
That program is a home run for Rec and Parks, and there are many more sports detailed on their website. In this week's feature story, gratitude is the theme of the 2025 Nisei Week Japanese Festival in LA's Little Tokyo. Honoring the legacy of the district has never been more important, and the cultural celebrations kicked off with the Nisei Week Grand Parade.
Kicking off Nisei Week here in Little Tokyo, celebrating our Japanese American community. The theme for this year is Kancha, which is gratitude.
It's just a celebration of all the Japanese Americans who have been in LA over 100 years, actually. And it's just a reminder of all the things that we need to cherish about this place and about our culture.
A lot of people in Los Angeles are not aware of this event. It's actually every year.
You don't ever want to lose your cultural heritage. It's important to keep that identity. And so this event helps to reinforce that on a regular basis.
It's important to have these parades in large part because it's a way for people to learn more about the culture and to be appreciative and in tune with what the community wants, right? It's important to lead from community, and that's what the Japanese American Heritage and Nisei Week is all about.
Yeah, it's a great way to support the Japanese community here in Los Angeles.
It's important for representation. I think that kind of the state of our country right now, I think having this representation to showcase like inclusivity and that we care about our community, it helps to bring people and community together.
Celebrating diversity, definitely.
Yes, for sure. That's why we're here.
Living in such a diverse city, we're so lucky to have all of these wonderful cultures around us that we can experience, and I think coming to events like these, you really get to feel, the things you don't get to see in your everyday life.
So I'm excited to see all the Nisei queens and princesses.
I'm really excited to see the winners from the beauty pageant. They're my favorite part of the parade.
We went to Tokyo earlier this year, and being in Little Tokyo is just like a little snippet of actually being in Tokyo.
I've been coming to Little Tokyo since 1968, I guess. It's changed greatly, but it's still really as far as I'm concerned, the heart of Los Angeles and the jewel of Los Angeles, and I feel very privileged to be a part of this.
LA is a melting pot, and so to have our vibrant communities represented, especially in these times where we've been devastated by immigration ICE raids, now more than ever, just so excited to be here to celebrate the diversity, which is the strength of our city.
I am so happy that the people from Los Angeles, they do appreciate this event.
In this week's Things to Do, keep LA beautiful at the 7th Annual Beautification Conference. Learn more about our coastline at Cabrillo and enjoy a special edition of Back to School Venice. All this up next on Things to Do.
On Saturday, August 23rd, the Board of Public Works and the Office of Community Beautification presents the 7th Annual Beautification Conference, celebrating people, purpose, presence. Connect with fellow Angelinos to share stories, learn how to get involved, host your own community cleanup, and discover all that local partners and city agencies have to offer. There will be over 30 exhibitors at the Community Resource Expo, and the conference will cover community engagement, volunteering, the My LA 311 system, and Composting 101. Head to the Lincoln Heights Senior Center for the 7th Annual Beautification Conference on Saturday, August 23rd, beginning at 10 a.m. Find out more under the Keep LA Beautiful tab at laocb.org. Enjoy a guided walk with the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium educators on Saturday, August 23rd, when they will be interpreting the various habitats of the Cabrillo Beach Coastal Park. The walk begins at the aquarium courtyard and takes in the native garden, salt marsh, beaches, and tide pools. Along the walk, you'll see fossils, native plants, and other interesting finds of the coastal park. Pack a snack, head outside, and meet at the aquarium for this Cabrillo walk on Saturday, August 23rd at 1 p.m. For more information, see the events calendar at cabrillomarineaquarium.org. On Saturday, August 23rd, join Councilwoman Tracy Park for a very special coastal cleanup and fire relief edition of Back to School Venice Beach. This will be a coastal wellness experience and community celebration dedicated to supporting families, celebrating youth, and showing up for those impacted by the January wildfires. There will be youth performers, local vendors, games, and raffles, along with a coastal cleanup, yoga, and a skate zone. There will also be a backpack giveaway, free resources, and relief items. Join Councilwoman Tracy Park for Back to School Venice Beach on Saturday, August 23rd, beginning at 10 a.m. For more information, visit the Instagram account of Councilwoman Tracy Park. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's all for this week. I'm Susan Huckle, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you can watch us online anytime at lacityview.org. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
right, good morning and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, the 20th day of August in the year 2025. My name is Marquis Harris-Dawson. I serve as president of this council. Public comment for this morning's meeting will be taken in person in this chamber only. Madam Clerk, if we can begin by calling the roll.
Yes, sir. Blumenfield, Harris, Dawson, Hernandez, Hutt, Hirado, Lee, McCosker, Nazarian, Padilla, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 12 members present and quorum, Mr. President.
All right, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes of August 19, 2025.
Councilmember Rodriguez moves. Councilmember McCosker seconds. What's next?
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember Price moves. Councilmember Yaroslavsky seconds. Can we run through our agenda?
Yes, sir. Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing. Items 3 through 44 are items which public hearings have been held. For item 26, the Valley Village Neighborhood Council submitted a community impact statement in support of this matter. Item 40, the Budget and Finance Committee report has been submitted, posted online under the council file, and available for council consideration. For item 42, the Sunland Tahunga Neighborhood Council submitted a community impact statement against the proposal. Items 45 through 53 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Item 54 is a closed session item for which public hearing has not been held. The North Westwood Neighborhood Council submitted a community impact statement for item 54. Finally, item 55 is a closed session item for which public hearings have been held, and on the continuation agenda, item 56 is an item for which public hearing has been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
All right, without objection, those items are now before us. We'll call for specials members at this time. Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to call item 22 special for comments, and I would like to also call item 45 special for questions of staff, CLA, CIO, and an amendment that I have submitted this morning.
All right. Mr. Nazarian.
Thank you, Council President. Item 56 for comments and 42 for a separate vote.
4-2 separate vote. All right. Councilmember Hernandez.
And 53 special for a separate vote. 17, 29, 30 through 35, and 53 special for a separate vote. And if we could please hold 38 on the desk. Thank you.
All right. Without objection. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Out of an abundance of caution, I'm recusing myself from item 41 because I'm unclear who is working on this project.
You're unclear who's working on it?
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Just to be safe.
Just in case, right? All right. Any other specials members? Councilmember Rodriguez.
Items 5 and 39 for separate votes, and 45 for comments and a separate vote pending the amendment, and 42 for an amendment.
Got it. All right. Any other specials members? Madam Clerk, you have everything you need? All right, while the clerk is organizing our items to vote on, I want to turn it over to Council District 3, I'm sorry, for Council District 8, which looks like a 3. We have a testimonial this morning from folks who work at Lupita's Bakery. This is in regard to what we will do every morning, that we're here until the siege of our city in the name of immigration enforcement is done. So we'll invite them to tell their story at this time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abel Diaz, and I represent a bakery, a pastry shop here in South Central Los Angeles, and a chain of banquet halls for events with more than 40 years of serving our community in Los Angeles and San Bernardino County. We have been part of the heart of this neighborhood, working hard every day, enduring difficult times, and contributing to the local economy with honesty and effort. We face many challenges over the years. The riots, fires in 1992, the COVID pandemic in 2020, and now immigration riots. There are spreading fear in our streets and deeply affecting our families and businesses. Since these riots began, our sales have dropped between 30 and 40%, and not only in our storefront, our products are also sold wholesale in supermarkets. And there too, the sales have fell dramatically. People are afraid. They don't want to go out. They don't want to take the risk. And it is a legitimate fear because we know that any moment they can be separated from their families simply for not having papers. The fear has also reached our banquet halls. Some families have canceled their events because they are afraid to get in public. Others have been forced to cancel because a loved one has already been taken by ICE, leaving them unable to continue paying for their celebration. This is not fair. The president promised to deport criminals and gang members, but that is not what is happening. What we are seeing is the arrest of workers, fathers and mothers, people who have been here for decades, who have paid taxes, who have contributed to the community, to the country, in every possible way, except for having a document that has been denied to them for years. I personally know many members of our community who have been living in the country for 25 years, honest, hardworking people who only ask for an opportunity But instead of that opportunity, today they face the fear of being turned away from their families, from their children, from their homes, their entire lives. Here is where is the humanity? Where are the solutions? To see children crying because their parents don't come back from work. To see families broken apart by political decisions. It's something that breaks the heart of all of us who have one. This is not the country that was promised to us. Today, I raise my voice, and not only for my business, which is suffering economically, but for an entire community that is being hurt and criminalized unjustly. We keep the local economically alive. We serve with love, dignity, and we deserve respect, protection, and a fair opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a great bakery in the heart of the 8th District at Florence and Western. If you're ever in the neighborhood, please, please, please stop by. Lupita's Bakery and Banquet Hall. Madam Clerk, where are we at this time?
Yes, sir. There are several requests. There is a request to continue item 2 weeks to September 3rd, 2025, as well as continue item 54 to August 27, 2025. 54 is continued to 1 week, sir.
All right, without objection, that'll be the order.
Council may now vote on items 3, 4, 6 through 16, 18 through 21, 23 through 28, 36, 37, 40, 43, and 44, sir.
All right, let's open the roll on those items, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Next, council may also vote on the closed session item 55 that was considered by Budget and Finance Committee yesterday.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Council President. Budget and Finance Committee considered and approved item 55 in committee on August 19th. I recommend we approve option 1, which is what we voted on in budget unanimously, and I ask that we send that forthwith.
All right. Madam Clerk, if we could read the details into the record and call the roll.
Yes, sir. For item 55, in the case entitled Griffith J. Griffith Charitable Trust et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to adopt the recommendations of the City Attorney Report dated July 16, 2025.
All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Mr. President, I believe the Chair of Budget Finance Committee requested this go forthwith, sir.
Without objection, that'll be the order.
Next, council may move on to public comment, sir.
All right, Madam Clerk, Mr. City Attorney, if we can prepare us for public comment. And just for the audience, we will take public comment for 30 minutes, so we will stop at 11 a.m. And we'll take as many speakers as we can in that time. So just be mindful when you're coming to the podium. Try to get there as quickly as we can and begin your speech and time so as many people can speak as possible.
I will begin by calling names.
So before we start calling names, I have a few instructions to provide to the audience. To people providing public comment, when it's your turn to speak, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak to. You will have 1 minute per item, up to 3 minutes total for the items open for public comment. We will tell you when your time is up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you are on topic, you will get one brief warning from me or the council president. At that point, you need to get clearly and immediately on topic. If you do not do so, or if you again stray off topic, you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time and we will move on to the next speaker. The items open for public comment on the agenda are items number 1 and items 45 through 53. Again, the items open for public comment on the agenda are items number 1 and items 45 through 53. Item number 2 and item number 54 have been continued. Members of the public may also speak for up to 1 minute for general public comment. During general public comment, members of the public may speak to any of the items or anything else in the city's subject matter jurisdiction. A couple more announcements, if I could have the interpreters make this first one aloud to the room, please. If you require a Spanish language interpreter, please make sure to pause every few sentences so the interpreters can interpret.
Si usted requiere interpretación en español, por favor, háganos el favor de hacer pausa entre sus frases para que el intérprete tenga tiempo para interpretar.
Don't worry, we will pause your time while the interpreters are interpreting, so you will get the same amount of time as everyone else. Thank you.
No se preocupe, vamos a detener el reloj mientras que los intérpretes están interpretando, entonces usted tendrá la misma cantidad de tiempo que todos los demás. Gracias.
Finally, the order in which we take public comment is at random. That is to say that it is randomly generated. So please wait until you hear the name that you signed up under called aloud before lining up. After you hear the name that you signed up under called aloud, you can line up in any order on your left-hand side of the council chambers. Thank you.
I will begin by calling names. Jose Miguel Ruiz, Audit LA, Candido, Ed Keenan, Jose Felix Larios.
Mr. Herman, if you are not ready, we will move on to the next speaker and we can come back to you. So I know you stay for the entire meeting. There's no reason for you to bring all of your stuff up here, just to move your stuff back to the pews later on. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
Stop discriminating against me, asshole. Item number 1, you fucking dog-eating peanut head, pimple face. This has to do with the sidewalk. Categorically, Scientology has a sidewalk, belongs to us, the public. But yet we cannot use a particular brick-laid sidewalk because asshole attorney there.
No, this is not on the agenda. You need to speak to the dedication discussed in item 1. If you do not do so, I'm going to move you to general public comment. This is your final warning. Speak to the item specifically.
I'm on item number 1.
Speak to the item.
Okay, you asked for it. Fucking communication from Armando Herman, the fucking engineer, for the first consideration of the motherfucker relative dedication, everybody, of the goddamn.
You've exhausted your 1 minute on item 1. Please move on to another item.
Right away. What? I can't
You
finish
have
my...
exhausted your 1 minute on item 1. Please move on to another item.
There's other items, asshole. Relax. I understand that. 46, for example, is that one on issue? Fucking Juju Bloomfield and that dumb Sambo up there? Due to the windstorm and extreme weather, like the whether or not this asshole attorney under the Los Angeles Administrative Code fucking cares about smoking scanning me, all we're trying to do is alert the American people that Donald J. Trump has the answers for fire and the weather system that's going on in California. That's shut it down. Shut the fucking system down. You're wasting money, you're fraudulently stealing, and you're still a big head, animal-eating dog herder. Now into my other item. 49. 49 South Lorena Boulevard. Rent escrow. Wah, 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 wah. Am I on topic, Mr. Attorney, for the record? Am I on topic? So I must
This is your
be
opportunity
right.
to address the council, not the audience.
I'm addressing Donald J. Trump, MAGA.
Okay,
on
not on the
all
agenda.
issues.
You have 1 minute for general public comment. You have been warned multiple times. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Brandenburg versus Ohio. You're all familiar with Brandenburg versus Ohio. We plan to send the Jews back to Israel to save America. How do we do that? We get our new support by our now outstanding president, Donald J. Trump, for the record, to save all of you from the conditions of...
So again, Mr. Herman, this is your last warning. This is your opportunity to address the body, not the members of the audience. If you do it again, you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time. Okay, hold his time really quick. This is your first and only... This is your first and only warning. Do not disrupt this meeting. You are interrupting my instructions to you. Mr. President, he's continuing to disrupt this meeting and is eligible for removal pursuant to Rule 7, Rule 12, if you would like.
Fuck you, Mr. Attorney. I'm on topic. It's my time.
Mr. City Attorney, this person has violated a number of council rules, at least 7 and 12, so he is ordered removed from this meeting.
Correct, and he has
immediately.
And he's been warned multiple times.
Yes, and you've been warned multiple times. And thank you for the free hats. All right, let's go to our next speaker.
Hello, hello. Okay.
Hello, and before you begin, thank you everyone for your patience. Again, it can, well, thank you for your patience. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I would like to speak to general public and then 1, 2, and maybe others, and hopefully with the council people paying attention this time.
So let me repeat the items that are open for public comment because I understand the previous experience might have caused us to forget which ones were open for public comment. So for everyone, the items that are open for public comment on the agenda are items number 1, items 45 through 53. So again, item number 1 and items 45 through 53. Mr. Herman, you've been ordered removed from this meeting. You've been provided multiple warnings. Get out of this council chamber. Welcome to council, everyone. Again, thank you for your patience. So, to the extent it wasn't clear, the items that are open for public comment are items number 1 and items 45 to 53. So I'll give you 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Before you begin, item number 2, I know you requested it, was continued. That's why it's not open for public comment. So go ahead, you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Thank you. Okay, first on number one, it sounds like you're giving property back to the city, which I like to see. That makes me happy. Because, you know, I've been coming here for over a year now talking about L. Ron Hubbard Way, which is public property. But you guys act, and the Scientology acts as if it's not. They act as if they own it because they have an R permit. They believe that that's the same thing as a street vacation. So I am hoping that this trend towards taking back city property continues, and that you continue it with L. Ron Hubbard Way by revoking their R permit, since they have been illegally, you know, using, you're not allowed, it's against your laws. You guys made the laws that there's no religious exemptions for underpaid workers, and people are making $47 a week to work on that street, okay, when it comes to these permits that you guys give them. And that's illegal by your own standards, and you're not enforcing it. They're also doing, you know, their security. They're not in contract with you guys to do security on that street. But because they have this R permit, that you know, they believe they can. And we had somebody, a survivor of Scientology, assaulted for the second time.
I'm going to ask that you move on to another item, please. Or you
Okay.
can speak to this during general.
Okay, well, with that, all the housing ones, right? I wanted number two, so I'm a little bit behind. But with the housing stuff, okay. Oh, and you know, shout out to Smoke and Scan. I'm glad that they're watching all this. And you know, the thing about the housing is that there's been a lot of mistakes made, okay? I don't really feel that everything is really being done. You know, I mean, you had court cases wondering what's going on with all the money. There's all kinds of stuff. There's people that really need help that don't seem to be getting help. I've seen people, I've known somebody who, you know, who came to me for help, and they're told, well, you know, you can't do this program. You're not, you know, you're not homeless enough. Is what she's living in her car, but because she's living in her car and not in an encampment, she can't get certain help. Like, it's just so convoluted and confusing. I wish you guys could just get it together. Now, is the one with the emergency, is that available? Because I would like to discuss that.
So the homelessness emergency is what you just spoke to, because that's
The
the
fire?
only housing item on. Yes, the fire one is there. Go ahead.
Okay, the fire emergency. Yes, I mean, we had a horrible, you know, fire situation that I also, I mean, no offense, feel that you guys had, didn't really handle very properly. Neither did the mayor, neither did the, everything. And so, yes, the emergency continues, but you guys need to get a better grip on everything. You guys need to, and let them rebuild. Why can't people get the permits to rebuild what they want to? Why do they have to be forced into building what they don't want? It's just so ridiculous. It doesn't feel like you're here for the people. And I also want to say, Mr. Lee, if you're ever listening, I couldn't be here yesterday to support your motion to
General public
go
comment?
against 79. Okay, public comment?
Yep, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Okay, all right. I asked you guys not to go to Scientology's National Night Out, and I'm thankful that the police, fire, everyone didn't, because otherwise you'd be opening yourselves up to a lawsuit, because what they did is they did not allow me to go in. It is open to the public. It stated open to the public, but I just went in and I was immediately rushed by guards who were, you know, to tell me to to leave and I'm not welcome there. That's called viewpoint discrimination. So luckily, since you guys didn't go, and I don't even know if you gave permits for that, then you're not held liable. But you need to continue. You need to realize that's what they're doing. Every time, Mr. Martinez, Soto Martinez, that you're helping them out and you're giving them these, you know, letting them keep their R permits and stuff, you are permitting viewpoint discrimination. I don't go and disrupt. I'm not a disruptive person. I have a right to go and not like what they do and still attend a public event that's related to, you know.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
Before the next speaker begins, I will call a few more names. Terry Hara, Sherry Akona, Sophia Armin, and Sean Michaels.
Good morning, Speaker. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment, but I'm also here on item 6, 250767. My name is Jose Miguel Ruiz.
Hold on, before you begin. So the other items you requested are not open for public comment, but you can speak to them during general. So you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Great. My name is Jose Miguel Ruiz. I'm the executive director of Cultiva LA. We actively grow in 10 acres of community farming. And I'm here today to thank all of you, but in particular, Councilmember Hernandez, for investing in green spaces. 3 weeks ago, the MacArthur Park got raided by law enforcement, but today is a win for item 6. We get to bring a healthy community garden to the Pico Union neighborhood where there will be resources on tenant protections, growing food, but most important, as a social worker, is teaching the next generation how to grow local food. So for that, I thank you, and I want to, again, thank all the members. It has taken 5 years to get to this point, and also Parks and Recreation that have been leading the way. So thank you, Parks and Rec and City of LA.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
¿Se puede en español, por favor?
Sí, adelante.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es José Félix Larios.
Good morning, my name is José Félix Larios.
Solo quiero darle las gracias por el punto número 6.
Can we pause this time really quick? Can we just ask him to pull back from the mic a little bit? That might help with the audio.
Señor, ¿se puede alejar un poquitito del micrófono para que lo escuchemos
claro.
mejor?
Sí, claro. Ok, buenos días a todos y todas.
Good morning,
Mi nombre
everybody.
es José Félix Larios. Solamente quiero darle las gracias por el punto número 6, número 25-0767, especialmente a la concejal Eunice Hernández por todo su excelente trabajo para llegar a esto y seguir trabajando en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
I came here only to thank Council Member Hernandez for point number 6, 25, 07, and 67. Thank you for your work.
Yes. Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Good morning, Officer Ilariaga. My name is Sean Michaels. For item number 45, it's about the local emergency, about housing and homelessness. Well, there is a reason that we are having a homeless crisis, and then the reason is our council president, Harry Stoughton, continue to invest billions of money of their scam, fraudulent, homeless complex. Homeless industry and the so-called non-profit homeless project. Yes, billions of money thrown away to release all of the criminal gangbangers. Billions of money throw them away to helping people change their penis to their vagina, change their vagina back to their penis over and over again. That's the reason why when people asking the city council for more money for homeless, and then our council president has absolutely no money. Now, let's move on to item number 46. It's about the local emergency about the fire on January 7th. There is a reason why we have like 2,000 firefighter shortage right now. There's a reason why we have 5,000 LAPD officer shortage right now, because our council member, our council president continue to focusing how can we make it cheap and affordable to change your penis to your vagina, to change your vagina back to your penis, and you do that once every year, twice a year, 3 times a year, and over again, because our council president wants to support LGBT. And I was wondering that when our council president will become LGBT, when does our council president will change your penis to your vagina, and then when does our council president will actually save the fire, will actually have more firefighter and have more police officer. Now let's move on to item number 53. Item number 53 is that our council president wants to make sure that everybody is sitting, lying, sleeping, storing, using some sort of a public sidewalk. Everybody became a criminal. Yes, I'm very lucky because when I was sleeping on the sidewalk, my nurse Dana took me back to her house. So that's why I have a place to stay. But right now, I'm aware 100,000 homeless people in city of Los Angeles, they do not have a bed. They don't have a home to go back to. They do not have, not every single homeless person is lucky as me to have a Dana can take me back to her house and house me right there. So I want to make sure everybody knows that our council president continue to criminalize every single people sleeping on the street. But why we are punishing
General
people
public comment?
sleeping on the street is because you failed 100,000 Los Angelinos. You failed them. You do not allow them a chance to have a house. You do not allow them a chance to have a job. You do not allow them have a chance to continue to pursue their American dream. You only care releasing all the criminal gangbangers. You only care provide more services to the illegal gangbangers. You only care and meet and continue to provide whatever services to illegal gangbangers. And then I want to make sure that to shout out to our council member Smoking Scan, and then our future council member Spindler, and then I also want to thank my friend Dana. Maybe I will be deported by the President Harris Dawson. Maybe I will be deported by ICE, but Dana, I left my heart at the Santa Monica Brazilian barbecue for you to pick up my heart anytime you want. Thank you, Dana.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
22.
Okay, so 22 is not open, but you have 1 minute for general public comment. So 1 minute, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Terry Hara, president of the Terminal Islanders Association. Today's supportive vote by the full City Council will help preserve the last two remaining buildings that represents what was once a thriving fishing village, the rich history and legacy of 3,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans that lived and worked on Terminal Island. They were directly responsible to help create the nation's tuna industry, but all that changed with the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Their lives were destroyed and forced off the island into horse stables and concentration camps because of hate and paranoia. I ask for your support of the HCM designation, Terminal Island Furusato Tuna Street, for the history and legacy of Terminal Island. Thank you.
Sorry, I lost the foot pedal. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'm here speaking on general public comment and item 56, please.
So item 56, public comment was already held at committee or previously, but you have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good day, honorable council members. My name is Dr. Sophia Arman. I'm the co-chair of the California MENA Civil Rights Coalition and the ED of Armenian American Advancement Network, a civil rights and immigrant rights organization. I come to you today on behalf of over 20 MENA, Middle Eastern and North African constituency-based organizations that make up our coalition, the first of its kind actually in the state. I'm also a longtime resident and a data equity specialist in our city. We are here today urging you to support AB 91, the California MENA Inclusion Act. The city of Los Angeles is home to the largest MENA community in the United States, from Tehran Angeles to Little Armenia to Little Arabia, Assyrian churches, Sudanese community organizations, and Kurdish cultural centers. We urge you today to support AB 91 because it means being seen. Thank you so much.
Before the next speaker begins, I will call a few more names: Basha Jamil, Robert, Eva Garcia, Bill Weeks, Stuart Little.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. Item number 22, I wasn't sure to come up now or to come up when the items actually appears.
Now's okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Bill Fujioka. I was here just the other day. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees for Japanese American National Museum. I came here today in support of Councilmember McOsker's motion regarding the two historic buildings on Terminal Island. What's important is that This community, in the Japanese American community, we have many enclaves. I happen to come from Boyle Heights, which is one. Terminal Island is special, folks. In 1942, after the Executive Order 9066 was signed, that community, the residents and the businesses were virtually destroyed. All of them were destroyed, except for the two buildings we're talking about today. It's important to pass this motion to ensure the history of this community is preserved. At the Japanese American National Museum, we have over 20,000 artifacts. Our most important artifact is our historic building because it represents the strength of the community and that we preserve through the atrocities and the injustice of World War II. Today's motion is important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. And if you run out of time to finish your public comment, or if we run out of time today and you're unable to provide public comment, you can always provide additional written public comment at lacouncilcomment.com. Again, that's lacouncilcomment.com. You can find that URL at the top of every council agenda. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Muy buenos días, voy a hablar en español.
Good morning, I'm gonna talk in Spanish.
Mi comentario es general.
I have a general public comment.
Mi nombre es Eva García.
Adelante.
Soy organizadora de inquilinos de colectivo Poder Comunitario y estoy aquí para pedirles que actualicen la ley Larzo, ya que es una ley que necesitamos actualizar porque nuestros miembros están sufriendo acosos y desalojos.
Permítame. I am Sara Garcia, a community organizer from Community Power. I'm here today to ask you to update LARSO, the law, because our members are suffering.
Como se los repito siempre que vengo aquí, la vivienda es un mercado para los pequeños y grandes corporaciones.
As I have always repeated every time that I come here, the housing, it's a market, a small market for the people who have no money and a big market for those who have the money.
Y aún habiendo ley de control de renta, hay mucho abuso.
And even though we have laws to regulate the rent, there are a lot of abuses.
¿Por qué? Porque la vivienda es un mercado para los negociantes ahora de vivienda, ¿verdad? Vivienda es un negocio.
Because the housing is a market for those who deal with the housing.
Yo no pediría un control de renta nada más de 3% para viviendas habitadas. Pediría un control de 3% de viviendas no habitables para que evitara mucho desalojo.
I would not ask only a rent control of 3% for those for those living places that have people inside, but 3% even those for those rooms that are empty.
Pero a veces hay que ir por pasos para mendigar algo diferente para nuestras comunidades.
But sometimes we have to go step by step so that we can beg something for our communities.
Por ahora necesitamos que actualicen la ley Larzo a un 3% y no aumentos a personas adicionales.
That's why we now need to update the 3% law regarding LARSO and no further increases.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Due to continuous refusals of accountability, no transparency, systematic abuse, gross negligence, and a variety of deaths, the men's central jail needs to be closed immediately. All of the juvenile detention centers need to be closed immediately for the same reasons. To further, get rid of the California Police Officers' Bill of Rights. It protects lewd and abusive officers and gives them an above-the-law status. It is a threat to our society, the common good, and a contagion in our neighborhoods.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
It'll be general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Basha Jamil, and I'm here on behalf of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE LA, and as a proud member of the California MENA Civil Rights Coalition. We're asking you to support AB 91, the Middle Eastern and North African Inclusion Act. For too long, MENA communities have been rendered invisible in state data because there is no distinct MENA category, meaning MENA individuals are counted as white. And this misclassification erases their realities and leaves them invisible when it comes to policy, funding, and civil rights protections. Our communities face unique barriers. Immigrants need language access. Refugees are struggling to rebuild. Muslims experience Islamophobia and surveillance, yet none of this is captured in state data. AB 91 is a simple but historic fix. It ensures MENA Californians are accurately counted in state demographic data. It already passed the state assembly unanimously, and so now we respectfully urge you to support AB 91 and stand with the MENA community. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Bill Weeks. I have a general comment on item 22, the Terminal Islanders.
So you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. I thank you for everything you people do. I appreciate it. We have an opportunity here that's historic. We can have a monument to a time when government overstepped its boundaries. A monument that is important now more than ever. Let's do this. I would like to see a quote by Justice Matthew Tobriner added to this monument when they ruled on the Murguia decision in 1975, which says that you cannot, well, it says neither the federal nor state constitution countenances the singling out of an invidiously selected class for special prosecutorial treatment, whether that class consists of black or white, Jew or Catholic, Irishman or Japanese, United Farm Worker, or Teamster. If an individual, okay, thank you.
Greetings, Council. My name is Edmund Keenan. I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America Los Angeles chapter.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment.
Oh, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thanks. Los Angeles is a city of renters, and rent is more unaffordable than ever. We need to do more to prevent the homeless crisis from worsening, especially in the wake of increasing natural disasters and economic uncertainty. Despite months of warning and a clear economic report showing the formula is unfair to tenants, Council continues to delay a vote to update the city's decades-old rent control rules. As a result, LA renters, many of them low-income and immigrants, are stuck with unnecessary rent hikes during both a political crisis and a housing and affordability crisis. We can't let city leaders prioritize landlords and developers over protecting the 60% of Angelenos who rent. The biggest problem facing the city of Los Angeles and its people is housing. People across the economic spectrum, from working class, lower income, middle class, all struggle to find safe, affordable, clean, private housing with a reasonable distance of their job sites. Cap the rent at 3% and 60% of inflation. Thank you.
Hold on just 1 second, please.
Anisha Williams, Allison Shaler, Becky Dennison, and Corey Out.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Anisha Williams. I'm a part of the California Fast Food Workers Union, and I also work at Jack in the Box. As you know, yes, we have had a heat exhaustion in Los Angeles, and that's why I'm speaking. Working in the fast food industry, working in the fast food business, period, it gets extremely hot in the kitchen. And I have seen firsthand workers get very dizzy from the heat. It can get up to 90 degrees up in the kitchen. I had to get a towel and run cold water on the towel to give to the cook in the kitchen so she can cool off because it was so hot. I was afraid that she was gonna pass out. If we fall out in the kitchen, I don't know what to do. So that's why it's so important that you guys help us pass our ordinance here today. And we will be having reports to you guys' office. Thank you.
I'm giving general public comment.
Okay, good morning. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Becky Dennison with Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles and a member of the Keep LA Housed Coalition. I'm here this morning with others in the coalition to urge you to take action to reduce rent burden for tenants in LA, too many of whom are coming through our doors with evictions. Changes to the rent stabilization ordinance have been pending for far too long, and the tenant majority in LA is demanding this much-needed change. The RSO is one of the most important tools that this council has to protect tenants and also balance the playing field between tenants and landlords, especially in this time of all of the federal attacks. Annual rent increases are harming tenants who simply cannot keep up, but the data shows that landlords are doing fine because they recapture rent through tenant turnover. So the time is now to take action on all of the Keep LA Housed recommendations, fully fund rental assistance, and especially cap the rent at 3%. We urge agendizing this item ASAP. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Allison Scheller, general public comment
Okay,
first.
good. Oh, sorry, just general?
No, also 53, is it 52, the single staircase? 52 or 53, I don't know, all the papers are been
I
taken
believe
back there
it's
now.
42. So
42, 42.
Yes. So you'll have 1 minute for item, actually, I apologize. Item 42 is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general. So you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
All right, I find the constant work on this council's behalf preventing the construction of housing despicable. Today's docket floored me with the amount of numbers of the criminalization of homelessness and poverty. I was taken aback by how many motions are up that make it a crime to be poor. And also, when the next time you see someone on the street that's unhoused, y'all need to take your responsibility in that person's circumstance. I hope you hear my voice in your head reminding you that it's your fault that that person is on the street. It's astonishing. Your behavior is unreal.
Next speaker. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'm here to speak on item 42, but I understand I'll be speaking general comment.
Yes, okay. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you, members, for your time and attention this morning. My name is Corey Alt. I live in Little Tokyo, Council District 14. I'm here to urge your support for single-stair reform in Los Angeles. I'm a single-issue voter on the issue of housing production. I'd like to thank my representative on this council, Member Jurado, for her leadership on this issue. As she does, I care deeply about protecting tenants from displacement in my neighborhood and restoring affordability for those already displaced. To achieve those goals, we need more homes. This proposal would allow more homes to be built, helping lower the dramatic rent burdens placed on families like mine, and helping to allow more of your constituents to live inside. With that in mind, I urge a yes vote. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. General comment, item number 22.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
I'm Paul Hiroshi Boye, Term Islanders Association board member, descendant, and chair of the coalition to protect, rehabilitate, or reconstruct the 2 remaining buildings for an adaptive reuse. Today can be remembered as a truly momentous occasion that will be an important step towards significantly honoring the legacy of the Term Island Japanese immigrants and the Japanese American children. We will be extremely grateful for the LA City Council's unanimous support of the HCM designation. The designation of the Terminal Island Furusato Tuna Street buildings as a historic cultural monument will facilitate these historic buildings being recognized as essential to American history. Their stories of immigration, resilience, and community will be formally commemorated, protected, and passed down to future generations. Thank you.
Before the next speaker begins, I will call more names. Stacy Segarra Bollinger, Simon, Kristen Peterson, Jason Reedy, Janet Weiland.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
Good morning, Council. My name is Andrew Salimia. I'm the Director of Advocacy at the Los Angeles Conservancy. We're asking you today to support the designation of the Terminal Island buildings, Furusato, as a historic cultural monument. For too long, these places have been overlooked, and I think that's true for many of our immigrant communities, our diverse communities in Los Angeles. It's taken decades for us to actually recognize the importance of this place, but we see the echoes of what happened at the site throughout the city today. I think you all see that relevance. I want to specifically thank Council Member McCosker's office and his dedicated staff, specifically Axel Palacios, for getting us here. I want to thank the Port of LA for working with us, and for the Terminal Islander Association for leading this charge and being the stewards of the site that their families helped create, and we hope to keep it on this planet for another generation. Thank you.
All right. Looks like that concludes public comment for today's meeting. Madam Clerk, what items are before us at this time?
Yes, Mr. President. First of all, there is a request to send item 40 forthwith, sir.
One more time, I'm sorry.
Item 40, there is a request to have that go forthwith, sir.
All right, without objection.
And the first thing that council can do is item 41, that was called special by Mr. Price.
Mr. Price, we're on item 41. Mr. Price is recusing, just in case. All right, let's open the roll on 41, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, can we go to item 22, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Item 22, that was called special by Councilmember McCosker for comment, sir.
All right, and Mr. McCosker has on his gear, and so now we will go to him for comments.
Thank you very much. To be efficient with my time before we get into the substance of item 22, can I ask that item 38 be continued for 1 week to resolve some questions on the impacts?
All right, without objection.
Thank you so much.
For the record, Mr. McCosker, item 38 continued for 1 week. That would make it August 27, 2025, sir.
Thank you. It fits into my calendar. Perfect. I'll be here. Item 22. I want to thank the Terminal Islanders for their years of dedication and advocacy and hard work and keeping the spirit alive to get us to today. Members, I know we've talked about this before. It is more important today than ever before, and it was certainly important leading up to today. In the early 1900s, Terminal Island, which was also known back then as East San Pedro, was a Japanese fishing village. Japanese families came to East San Pedro and innovated tuna fishing in Southern California. And they preceded the great Croatian and Italian tuna fishermen, also great at their trade and their craft. They innovated. These Japanese families on Terminal Island in East San Pedro brought a vibrancy to the island and to their own community. And by the 1940s, there were about 3,000 Japanese immigrants and Japanese Americans by right of their birth who resided on the island. And the events of Pearl Harbor changed everything in 1941. Even before Executive Order 9066, Terminal Island began to be cleared of the rightful inhabitants, residents of East San Pedro. And by April of the year following the executive order, the island was entirely cleared and folks were moved to concentration camps, as our tragic history has told us. And that island became property of the Department of Defense and later became properties for the Port of Los Angeles. Virtually every evidence of this great, beautiful, vibrant community, whether it was temples or schools or houses, businesses, was eliminated, was razed to the ground, except for two buildings that remain today. I grew up in San Pedro, and my birth was separated just by a little over 20 years from the horrific events of the internment camps and the clearing of the island. But I grew up with my father and my mother and my grandparents who all remember the days that folks, community members, did not show up for school, did not show up at practice, did not show up at work, did not show up in the community, because it was a beautifully integrated community with students coming over on the ferry every day to go to Dana Junior High School or San Pedro High. And I was raised with this sort of the sadness and the shock that generations before me expressed, of course, once removed from the tragedy of this event. And I did grow up with Japanese Americans who would remind me of the story, remind me that Terminal Island was what it was. It's a vibrant community that was snatched away. And one of the tragic ironies is that as properties became terminals and became a prison and became a Coast Guard station on Terminal Island, that Coast Guard station, which is out on the farthest point towards the ocean, is a very place today where 200 to 250 ICE agents stage every single day to prepare for raids across Southern California that are, we know from other testimony, are in complete violation of the restraining orders and the rule of law in the United States. And to think of that tragic irony, we have the events of the 1940s, and then a community of generations of Terminal Islanders who are trying to protect that memory. And thank goodness they are protecting that memory, because it is a lesson for today. It is a lesson for today, and it's a tragic irony that this very property, some of this very property, is being used to commit similar violations of constitutional principles, of people's due process rights, of people's autonomy over their own bodies. Here's the good news, that the Terminal Islanders, working with the community, working with our office, working with the Port of Los Angeles, has brought us to this day where those last two buildings that have not been torn down, they were used for dry goods and grocery goods. They are on Tuna Street, appropriately, on the island, in the middle of the island, are still up. The buildings are in disrepair, but they are still there. And we've had a chance to walk through them. They need some work, but they still evoke the memories of what that village was. And today we get the chance to designate as an historic monument each of those buildings and create the leverage that we need. We've talked about leverage, the leverage that we need to make sure that the buildings are restored, are protected, and can be a more complete evidence and memory, a living memory for visitors of the great Japanese fishing village that was in East San Pedro on Terminal Island. And I'm so grateful to the Terminal Islanders for your perseverance and for being here and for being always present and always ready to say, let's stick up for our history. So members, I know that it's an easy ask, and I'm grateful to you for that. I'm going to ask for an aye vote, And I'm going to ask that we preserve these last two buildings as a memory of what was, of the tragedy of 1941, and a reminder today, that we should not let anything like this be relived. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. McCosker. And I want to join Mr. McCosker in requesting an aye vote and make an additional request to Mr. McCosker's request for an aye vote, and that is for everybody who has not been to the site to visit it. I had occasion to go there over the recess, and it is one of the most moving and spiritual experiences and places you can be anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. You literally can feel the energy left from what happened there and what people have refused to forget, as much as history over these years has tried to erase it. And we're doing this today. Yesterday, the presidents of the United States is saying our museums talk too much about people's oppression, and we should stop talking about slavery and stop talking about the internment and stop talking about all those other things, and we should just say how great America is. And here, we're saying America's great because of our stories and because we've overcome these things and because we've been through them, and it's because we've been through them that we know how dangerous it is to go back. So again, thank you so much, Mr. McCosker. This is a big, big deal. And everybody, when you have a chance, you ought to get down there to see this site. It is truly one of the places that makes Los Angeles special. All right, with that, we'll open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
49.
All right, congratulations, everybody. Forthwith, urgently. All right, what's next?
Next, Mr. President, council may now vote on items 1 and 46 through 52, sir.
All right, let's open the roll on those items, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
$14.09, sir.
All right, what's next?
Next, council has items 5 and 39. 5 and 39 was called special by Councilmember Rodriguez.
5 and 39. Okay. Comments? Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, thank you. I'm again going to continue to vote no on any candidates that have not had their financial disclosure uploaded. So I just want to remind the mayor's office to please work with the city clerk to have these documents uploaded before these votes. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other comments, let's open the roll on these items, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
Nice. No.
All right, what's next?
Next would be items 17, 29, 30 through 35, as well as 53, and that was called special by Councilmember Hernandez for a separate vote, sir.
Councilmember Hernandez, any comments? All right. Councilmember Rahman.
Could I have 53 voted on separately?
5-3. All right, can we restate the items we're voting on?
Yes, sir. Those would be items 17, 29, 30 through 35, sir.
All right, let's open the roll on those items. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
That would be 12 ayes and 2 noes.
All right, that takes us to item number 53.
Yes, item 53, that was called special by Councilmember Rahman for a separate vote.
All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 3 noes.
All right, what's next?
Next would be item 45. And that.
Well, let's come back to that. Can we do?
Council may vote on item 56, and that was called special by Councilmember Nazarian.
All right, Councilmember Nazarian.
Thank you, Council President.
while the federal government chooses who it wants to recognize or not recognize in its census counts, I appreciate the state taking important steps to make sure all communities are seen and heard. And so I just respectfully asked for the support of this council of the resolution. Thank you very much.
All right, let's open the roll on this item, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right. Forthwith, without objection. All right. You have 2 additional items that you would like to send forthwith. If you can let us know what those are at this time. 4-3 and 4-4?
Yes.
Without objection?
Thank you.
All right. What's next?
Mr. President, just to double check. So that is 43, 44, and 56 are forthwith, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Council has 2 items next. It could be either 42, that was...
Let's go for 42.
That one, there's supposed to be an amendment. It has not been circulated yet or received. But 45,
I think it has been circulated.
apologies, the signed copy just came to me. So item 42, the amendment by Councilmember Rodriguez, second by Councilmember Park is here. And also Mr. Nazarian called 42 as a separate vote.
All right. Comments, anybody on this? Councilmember Rahman?
Asking that we take a vote on the amendment separately and to respectfully request a no vote on the amendment. The original motion and the report that's in the file has included extensive consultation with the fire department. Fire department staff were at the Plum Committee meeting, expressed no issues with it. They have the expertise to advise on this issue, and any future legislation that we're writing will include their guidance. It's part of the work that's ongoing and will require concurrence with any state building codes and fire codes that exist. Anything that comes out will be in concurrence with any state existing legislation on fire as well as our building codes. And I believe that the motion as is, or the report as is, takes all of that into consideration. I would respectfully request a no vote on the amendment and a yes vote on the underlying item. Thank you very much.
Got it. Councilmember Rodriguez?
Thank you. So I introduced this amendment because I had concerns about some of the issues that might result from a code change of this magnitude. And what we're doing is essentially just covering ourselves by going to the state fire marshal to ensure that we have vetted everything to the greatest degree possible, because these are fire life safety issues that we're talking about. When we make some of these changes, when it comes to stairwells, it's an access issue in the event of an emergency, no different than some of the ingress-egress issues that we've seen occur on our streets. We're talking about just making sure that we're vetting this and making judicious decisions in advance, so when the ordinance comes back, it's all compliant. And so I know there's room in our code to make adjustments, and this item is here to facilitate making sure that on small parcels that we are creating the most optimal opportunities for construction. And what we're speaking of conceptually, as it is in the report, I just want to see that the draft ordinance has a more robust conversation and is ensured compliance with the state fire marshal. This is no different than the procedure, what we experience when planning goes and consults with HCD before we change our zoning code. So this is merely ensuring that whatever we get back is fully compliant with the state fire marshal, so that we don't find ourselves going back and forth. Again, procedurally, it's no different than what planning does when they consult with HCD. So it doesn't delay, it doesn't do anything other than ensure that what we are engaged in is compliant when we get the ordinance coming back. So I ask for your aye vote.
Councilmember Park?
President. Members, yes, we need to build more housing, and yes, we need to make it easier to do that. But we can't do it without ensuring that our residents and our first responders are safe. And I'm just not convinced this is a good idea. I don't think as a body, we've heard enough about fire safety concerns. We certainly haven't heard from our firefighters on the ground about what they have to say. I, for one, would like to hear directly from the LA Fire Department Fire Marshal and the Fire Prevention Bureau to hear what they have to say. I personally spend a lot of time at the fire stations in my district, and I'll share with you what I have heard from the guys and gals on the ground, and that is concerns about limited evacuation routes, there not being redundancies if one exit is blocked, and delays in firefighting operations. So just starting with the obvious observation, generally in life, when you have more exits and evacuation routes, things are generally more safe. Whether that is a building or an outdoor concert venue or a standard 40-foot metro bus, which, by the way, has 2 primary exits and entrances and emergency hatches in the ceiling and the windows. So what happens if a fire occurs on one side of the building and the staircase is unusable? Smoke and fire rises through stairwells, so if there's only one stairway, it can become unusable for all of the floors above. With 2 stairwells, firefighters can use one to attack the fire and lay hose lines and direct occupants to the other one for evacuation. And in a single stairway, firefighters and those evacuating have to compete for the same narrow space if it's not blocked or clouded with smoke or fire. So we already know that the State Fire Marshal is going to be producing a report on this in January of next year, and it's possible that the international building codes may change in coming years with respect to stairways on buildings up to 4 floors, but none of those things have happened yet. We already have a beleaguered, half-staffed, and severely under-resourced fire department that's already responding to 500,000 emergency calls a year without the resources they need. And I worry that we could be forcing yet another problem on our firefighters and our residents without having done the diligence that we need. And I know that, they've looked to Seattle as an example of where this has been done. But if you look at the staffing at the San Francisco Fire Department per capita compared to what we have here in the city of Los Angeles, it's not even close. So I'd like to hear from the department on their thoughts and any issues or concerns that we have, because it feels like we're asking the city attorney to draft this before we've had the information from the state fire marshal or even a briefing with our own fire safety experts. And to add to that, there are legal concerns about the lawfulness of the proposal in front of us, and we haven't had a closed session or a briefing from our city attorney either. So I am supportive of Councilwoman Rodriguez's amendment, but on the substance of what's in front of us, absent that, I have very, very serious concerns.
Sorry, Councilmember Blumenfield.
Thank you. On the amendment, while I love the idea of getting more input from the fire folks, I am worried very much about the timing, because we are all under the gun. There is a state law that says come September 30th, we're not going to be able to change our codes for a couple of years. And so innovative ideas like this, if we don't get them in now, they're not going to be in for years. And that's a lot of housing that could be at play. So I would love to, maybe instead of saying, present the result, just instruct the departments to consult with state fire marshals and those folks, but do it simultaneously as we give the instruction to do the ordinance, then so that we can, at least we have a fighting shot at getting this done before that prohibition of years. So if we could change it so that it's not, because if you have to wait until you have the draft ordinance in hand and then present it to the marshal, we are never going to get this done. And by the way, we did in Plum, we did call up the fire department to ask them for their opinions on it, and they raised no objections. But frankly, they also weren't all that conversant. So I get it. Like, we want to have as much information as we can. We all are dedicated to safety and more housing, and I think there's a way to do both. So if you're willing to make it into just consulting, and we could do it simultaneously as we give the instruction to do the ordinance, then I would support that because I want this ordinance to move forward. I don't want it to be slowed down, and we can have those hearings as the ordinance comes forward and bring in anybody that we want to deal with the fire issues. But this is a really innovative thing. It's not, and we're not even on the cutting edge. There's a lot of other cities that are doing this. There are ways, the issue is not about one staircase or two staircases, it's about safety, and you can pressurize a staircase. You can do other things that can make it in conformance with our building codes that can make a project work that may not work if you have to pull it in two staircases. So I support the underlying bill or ordinance, pushing for an ordinance as we did in committee. I'll support the amended version of this if we can amend it to consulting and do it and making it clear on the record. It's a simultaneous consultation. It is not going to slow down the drafting of this ordinance because, again, we are on a tight window. If we're going to have any chance of getting this done, we need to get it done, and they need to work on it right away. So I would urge your aye vote on the underlying ordinance and as amended so that it's clear that it's simultaneous and it's consulting before the ordinance is actually written.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Thank you. I think there was a second to Councilmember Blumenfield's, but if not, I'll second that. Concurrent, I think, is appropriate given the time crunch we're under. So I also am very much in support of this moving forward as amended by Councilwoman Rodriguez. I think it advances the kind of smart, safe, and pragmatic changes that will make this city more affordable and livable for families. And so with our vote today, we're going to be directing the Department of Building and Safety and the Fire Department to return to council with the draft ordinance that would make the necessary changes to the city's building and fire codes to allow for these single exit buildings up to 6 stories, which is a building type that's actually found across most of the world. These changes are going to allow for smaller, more attractive apartment buildings and also make it easier to build family-sized apartments because there's not so much space set aside for a second stairwell. We as a council have repeatedly stressed the need for larger apartment buildings for families, for multi-generational families, for different types of living situations. It also allows for greater natural light and ventilation. These buildings, as we know, are less expensive to build and enable smaller developments to actually pencil out without making any changes to zoning. And I'll just say, in light of our conversation yesterday, as Sacramento continues to insist upon blanket solutions to our housing crisis, and in fact has made our efforts to reform some of our outdated codes harder, today's vote, if we move quickly, will help establish LA as a state national leader in common sense housing solutions. So I urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Councilmember Rahman to close.
I think as long as we're able to move the motion forward in a timely fashion, I think the time crunch is really important. I do want to underscore that fire risk is extraordinarily important to me. Personally, in my district, many portions of the district are very high fire severity zones. The biggest difference for safety is actually newer buildings tend to be much more fire resilient than older buildings because of how good our new building stock is. And we want new building stock here in Los Angeles. We want to be able to make sure that people can live in buildings that are safe. And new building codes do get us that. Again, as Councilmember Blumenfield and Councilmember Yaroslavsky stated, this is not particularly innovative. It is being done in many other cities and has maintained fire safety standards in all of those cities. And as long as we are able to meet the deadline and get it in before state laws prevent us from being able to make these kinds of changes that can actually generate new kinds of housing that we haven't seen here, and potentially the kind of housing that can be built even in a very tough investment environment nationwide, I'm comfortable with moving forward as amended. That's fine. Thank you.
All right. So we've got an amendment before us that
yes, sir.
has been amended.
Yes, just to recap, the original motion amendment, Rodriguez Park, was amended again by Councilmember Blumenfield-Yaroslavsky. That is recommendation number 4 to read, instruct the participating departments consult with the state fire marshal and any other state agency charged with fire/life safety responsibilities so that their preliminary feedback can be included in the report presented to council along with the draft ordinance. This should be done concurrently with the ordinance. And that was accepted. So that is what is before council. Amendment Rodriguez Park as further amended by Councilmember Blumenfield-Yaroslavsky.
All right, let's open the roll on the amendment, close the roll, tabulate the vote. All right.
That is 14 ayes, and now is item 42 as amended.
All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes, 1 no.
All right, what's next?
Next would be the amendment on item 45, and that amendment is amendment introduced by Councilmember McCosker and seconded by Councilmember Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. McCosker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. This amendment pertains to a motion that Councilmember Rahman and I put in with a second from Lee and Gerardo very recently on the question of the termination of the local determination of emergency for homelessness. In our motion, we asked for two things. We asked first for a report from the CLA and CAO on the legislative, the legal, the budgetary issues that might be impacted should there be a termination, when there is a termination of the declaration. Secondly, on a slightly longer timeline, we asked for implementation plans or guidance on implementation of the termination, which is coming, of the order and how we will be able to work seamlessly and continue the work of bringing folks inside. We have gotten the report back, and I'm going to ask the CLA and CIO, particularly the CLA, to come to the table. We have gotten the report back, and the report back is very thorough, and it indicates in its conclusion that with respect to the first order, the first question, what would be the impacts, that in looking at BOE and the provisions that they're operating under, there would be no effect. In looking at rec and parks and the assumptions and the laws that they're operating under, there would be no effect. Looking at planning, because of existing statutory law that relates to this similar issue, there would be no effect or no impairment of our ability to continue the work should there be, when there is, an end to the declaration of emergency. The report also indicates that in discussions with the mayor, there were issues raised. Great. I think it's important to raise those issues. I think they are all addressed, but I appreciate those issues being raised. In the second part of the report back, in response to the motion that we put in, it says on implementation, there are some outstanding reports to come in. There are some things that we need to see on how we would take this end of the emergency order and the fact that there is no change in what we are lawfully permitted to do, how we would make sure that we seamlessly implement and improve, I think we're all interested in improving into the next step. So the amendment that I put in today is actually less than where I started. Let's be frank about this. What I thought made sense was pick a date and terminate, and pick a date out into a short future so that we could do the things that the CLA and CIO's excellent report tells us we need to do on implementation. And I think then in reflection and in conversations with the mayor, I was asked, and I think it makes sense, and I'm going to ask you to be with me on this, to continue this item, continue the state of emergency to a date specific so that we can have those conversations, we can work with our departments, we can work with our CLA and our CIO as necessary, and put ourselves in a position where this item comes back on this agenda in front of us, because meetings are what drive decisions. Meetings drive decisions. And so what I put in this motion is that we would, in order to facilitate the further development of this strategic termination of the declaration, that we would move this item to 45 days from now, October 3rd, 2025, and that the declaration would come back to this agenda within that 45 days, that we would ask the CLA again and the CAO to continue their work in furtherance of the motion, to give us the implementation plan, and for good measure, just to be sure that we are all on the same page, a provision that says that except for that 45-day return, we would not have another agendized continuance of the emergency. This is our chamber, this is our process. And so what I am asking members is not that we set a date of termination, although that would have been my first preference, but we set a date for this item to come back. It gives our policy committee an opportunity to consider all of the issues that are in the report. It gives us all the chance to engage in the conversations with our constituents, with the mayor's office, with each other appropriately in committee. And then we know that in 45 days, or within 45 days, we will have this matter before us. We will most likely be ready then. But if we are not ready then, the law does allow us to continue it, which I will not be for, up to and including the 90 days, which I am not for. So this is designed to be responsive to the mayor's office and to be gracious in the way that we work together to strategically and competently wind down the emergency, but make sure that we continue the good work and advance even better work, because working together is always better. So I'm going to ask for an aye vote. I'm also going to ask for the CLA to come up to answer a few questions, because probably not fair for me to speak to her excellent report. She should speak for herself. May I, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll begin with the what my wife and I jokingly call the Rachel Maddow question. You just heard everything I said. Did I basically get it right? Because I'd like you to give an overview of phase one of your report, which is should the emergency end today, what effect does it have on the work collectively that planning, rec and parks, BOE as examples, our budgetary issues, what effect does it have on our operations?
Yes, good morning. You did basically get it right. Pernita wrote a very lengthy report, did a lot of research, conducted many surveys, spoke to several departments that would be most impacted by an end to this declaration. And she's here to present the report and answer any questions that you might have. But the basic conclusion of all of this is that there are already existing statutory laws that do not require a declaration of emergency anymore. There are some contracts that we do have contracts in place. Basically, what the emergency is allowing is a circumvention of the normal rules and laws that we have as it relates to competitive bidding. And so that needs to be resolved, and that would be part of that 60-day report back that you have asked for. But basically, our conclusion is that this emergency could end and that we can actually begin a normal process of handling these types of contracts in the long term. This emergency has been in place for 2.5 years. The intent really is to address emergency situations. 2.5 years is a very long time. And we should have the normal processes in place to operate normally. And so that's what this report says, but I'll turn it over to Pernita if you want her to walk through some of her findings as it relates to this declaration.
Mr. President, would that be your will, to have to have CLA go through her report briefly?
Briefly.
Good morning, Pranita Amatya from the CLA's office. Like Sharon has stated, we did a survey of all departments and asked them for any contracts that they might have entered into during the period of emergency declaration. And we met with, in addition to the survey, we met with multiple departments that we believe work more directly in the homelessness programming world to discuss any urgent impacts that they would face if the declaration were to end. We talked with LASA, CAO, DBS, Planning, and BOE. And we found that there are a lot of, like Sharon stated, there are a lot of local statutory regulations or legislative actions that would allow the city to continue homelessness programming and putting up homeless facilities as we have been doing due to the state shelter declaration that is in place and will be in place for until 2036. And additionally, there are other local laws that will allow the city to continue expediting or streamlining affordable housing production as well. So yeah, in summary, we did not find any immediate or any impacts to homelessness program and housing that would that the city would face if the emergency declaration were to end.
And if I can just address the amendment, the way we understand it, it would actually allow for the declaration of emergency to continue for another 45 days, at which time it would come back to the council again for consideration of either allowing it to end or possibly extending further based on some of the reports, additional reports that are being requested. So that's how we understand the amending motion that is before you.
All right, we got a lot of speakers. Any more questions, Mr. McCosker?
It might be, thank you. It might be informative just to go over the second part of the report and the issues that are outstanding or can be outstanding for a smooth transition and implementation of our policy goals without a declaration.
And the calendar for that, for what Mr. McCosker just asked for.
In the second part of our report, we would meet with specifically GSD to go over the list of contracts that they have shared with us. We would go over what would happen when those contract periods end, and if the emergency declaration is not in place, what would the process of reprocuring those contracts look like, how long that would take, if any of that process would change without an emergency declaration. But the list of contracts that they shared with us is part of this attachment. We would just have to explore further what happens when those contracting period end. That's the primary area of concern that we would include in the second part of our report. And we would yes, we can also evaluate Executive Directive 1 further to see if there are any other concerns that have not been covered in this report. And we would do that, and we would be back with the report within the next 45 days.
So in 45 days, you'd come back to us and tell us what happens when the contracts end?
We will try to do that, yes.
Okay. All right. Any more questions, Mr. McCosker?
No.
All right. Councilmember Blumenfield.
Thank you. First, Ms. McCosker, thank you. You make this much easier. Your first one, before you made this report back when you were actually terminating it, was a much harder decision for all of us. But you know, particularly, my biggest concern is the ED1, making sure that we get that codified. And I don't want us to toggle off the emergency before we can codify ED1, because ED1 has been very successful, and we've been waiting from planning department to get that codified version to the committee so we can get that through. Because as I understand from the CLA report, that is one thing that were we to end the emergency tomorrow, we don't have that codified, we're going to lose that very valuable tool. And Mayor gets major kudos for putting that forward. We want to make sure that that doesn't go away. I think the world has changed since when we first did the emergency order, several years ago. You mentioned the state law, the state shelter declaration, the local laws that now, as I understand from the CLA, we can pretty much everything we're doing, we can do with or without the emergency declaration. So in that case, we need to get back to regular business. Now, if we remove the emergency declaration, it does not mean that we're rolling out a banner that says mission accomplished. Far from it. We all know that that mission is far from accomplished. But it is saying that we need to lean in and basically get into the regular order of things to be solving our homelessness issues and make sure that we have the transparency and the processes to go with that. So I support what you're putting forward, which again is not to end the declaration, but to bring it back 45 days when it would normally come back 90 days. You're basically shortening the time frame of which we as a body look at this declaration and trying to light a little bit of a fire to get this done. And I respect that and appreciate that, and therefore, I'm supporting that. And I just wanted to make sure that in terms of the ED1 stuff, that's the only thing really that we have to do legislatively that would be different. Is that correct?
Mr. Blumenfield, planning is here, so we should probably talk directly to a representative from planning on ED1.
Well, we can talk to planning about ED1 getting it done, but in terms of the CLA, in terms of the one thing that we don't, is there anything else that state shelter declaration or local laws would, that we're currently doing that we would not be able to do if we did not have the emergency?
I think this is probably the single most critical one. We believe that the contracting that GSD does can be addressed in the interim to the extent that they need to do any competitive bidding or do any extensions of the agreements. Again, the agreements could come back to council for approval as well. It's just that right now with the declaration, it is not being brought to you for consideration. In theory, a contract that GSD holds that may have been sole source, may have been for a very good reason, could actually come to the city council for approval for a sole source determination as well for extension. But right now, all of those types of regulations are being circumvented, and I think the important point is that we want to normalize this so that all of the review processes that this body has an opportunity to review those types of contracts. And so I think that was the intent of instructing us to report on the types of things that, what would the impacts be and whether there are the normal processes that could be implemented to ensure that we still comply with our local laws and the administrative code, et cetera, as it relates to contracting and giving the council the ability to review those types of contracts.
Great, no, and that makes sense to me, and that's what, again, if we can continue to do everything that we have been doing and bring it into the regular order, that makes sense. I don't want us to lift this until we actually get ED1 codified, but I think the 45 days gives us that chance. And because it's not a trigger, it's really a report back to council. We'll be able to review it in 45 days. If we're not there, we can extend it a little further. So that's why I'm comfortable with what Mr. McCosker is putting forward, the new version of what he's putting forward. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's holding all of us accountable to reporting back in 45 days with that transition plan.
Thank you.
We have planning here to comment directly on ED1, and I would love it if also someone was here from the city attorney that can speak directly to contracting, because I've never seen the city attorney return a contract amendment in 45 days, much less execute a new contract. But I just want to hear directly from them as opposed to hearing what the CLA is saying you told them.
Yeah, thank you. Kevin Keller, Executive Officer, City Planning, and really thanking the CLA for preparing the report. We did collaborate with the CLA. We're happy to provide some more information. And on the specific questions regarding ED1, Executive Directive 1 does receive its authority from the emergency declaration. It waives procedures, it promulgates alternative procedures. It's been a very popular program. We have about 35,000 units in the program, 29,000 units approved, and that's 380 projects approved. We do have a number of programs that are available, as the CLA report stated, for affordable housing. We have the State Density Bonus Law program. We have the new citywide housing incentive programs. Each program is a little bit different, and no programs are exactly the same. So we are available to present and share some of the unique streamlining that is in ED1 that has not yet been codified. For example, projects that are located in overlay zones or specific plans are normally not eligible for other programs. It's a nuance, but we'd like to provide that information. We're happy to report back on that. Planning, in response to a council motion from 2023 and a recent plum hearing, planning has transmitted this week a revised ordinance with a lot of policy options for council consideration on considering an adopted ED1 program. So we're delighted to have presented that. We're going to be, I believe, coming to Plum whenever that's appropriate and can provide more information there. But that is something we transmitted this week and is available for council's consideration. So happy to answer any more questions on that, and we look forward to any kind of follow-up we can help provide with the CLA's office.
Got it. Thank you. Councilmember Padilla?
I just want to make sure, I don't know if you can answer this now or if you can also tell us in the next report how this will specifically affect tiny homes in the pipeline and the future production of tiny homes.
We believe that the production of tiny home villages can continue as it is now under the state shelter declaration crisis. So we can use the state shelter declaration crisis to expedite and streamline the production of any tiny home villages as we've been doing under the declaration.
So there'll be no changes to how we've been operating as is, or will there be some kind of needed effort to make sure it is streamlined?
I believe there will be no changes, but we can, for our second report, we can meet with BOE and DBS again to confirm that. But when we met with them, that was our understanding, that as long as the state shelter crisis declaration exists, we can use that as we've been using the emergency declaration.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Lee?
President, Pranita, if you or Kevin can answer, under the Municipal Code 1280, the Shelter Crisis Declaration, I understand what you said regarding tiny homes in the future. There are certain variances that we did not have to go after for some of the shelters that have been placed under this emergency declaration. Will that affect them in any way after, if we were to end this, does it bring back the process? Just want to clear that, make sure.
So are you asking about the projects that already went through?
Already exist, correct.
Yes, we asked DBS specifically that question, and the answer we got was there would not, those projects that have been approved would not be impacted.
Okay.
And this is Kevin Keller speaking for the Planning Department only in my role. The underlying shelter crisis still is a 2017 approval that for planning entitlements regarding the tiny homes that are city developed, we feel that would still provide coverage from a planning perspective for city developed projects, if that's the question you specifically asked.
Okay, and colleagues, you know, I agree with Mr. McCosker. I think the council needs to take back this process. You know, I think we should allow the mayor's office ability to, and the rest of the city departments to build an off-ramp program to, you know, the different things that this obviously affects. I don't want to have this for 45 days and then continue another 45 days. I want to put the mayor on notice that this is the last time I'm approving any type of extension at all. And so I think it'd be fair to give her the full-time extension, let her office and all the city departments work out that off-ramp program. But this is something we do need to take control, but I am comfortable with giving the mayor 90 days.
Thank you. Councilmember Rahman?
I just wanted to ask a question to the Planning Department, because from the report, I saw that the mayor's office had concerns that ED1 would be impacted by the ending of the declaration, but I don't understand the linkage between those two. What is the link between the executive directive and the declaration?
Kevin Keller, City Planning. I can speak on behalf of planning in terms of the link between the executive directive and the emergency declaration.
Sure.
Correct. So the emergency declaration provides the legal authority for the executive directive to accelerate and waive procedures. So projects that are eligible for ED1, affordable housing 100% projects, do not require hearings. They are not appealable. They are still consistent with underlying zone and the general plan, but if they check the boxes, they are processed in under 60 days and they are approved, and that's our process on those. That ability of the department to do that, because that does overrule a lot of our existing planning procedures, would come to a close for that type of project. We do have the ability to adopt a permanent ordinance that would do the similar thing or the same thing. We also have, as I think the CLA report said, there's a whole toolbox of different entitlement programs that also exist, but the exact toolbox for ED1 does not yet exist as a legislative option for those projects. The projects that are in the pipeline, under state law, will be able to continue, but we will, the department would have to shut the program, close the doors on that program upon the evaporation of the emergency.
Okay. And colleagues, I just wanted to thank you for that. That actually does clarify things, because I didn't understand the link between those two. But I also wanted to just, I was happy to co-present this motion with Councilmember McCosker. I think that sometimes the speed that an emergency declaration allows for contracting can sometimes prevent us from being able to go through the normal contracting procedures, which are in place for transparency and accountability. And I think the need for transparency and accountability on homelessness is incredibly important, something that I've worked a lot on and made progress on in my time here, and work that I've been very proud of. But I do also want to lift up Councilmember Lee's point about the time it takes to respond to the changes that are required for both contracts and for things like ED1, and also to underscore how much work the staff in our city who are currently doing homelessness response work are undertaking right now, all of which feels urgent and pretty big. It's challenging things. So we are now, for the first time, collecting and monitoring performance data across all of our 4 big areas of investments. All of that work, collating, analyzing data, and using that data to actually push our system to fill PSH units, which we're doing more quickly than ever, and filling older PSH units, which we're doing for the first time, takes staff time and effort and work, and we're doing that now every week, every month. We've been asked to look at, as a city, to take how it would be to take all of our contracting in-house, and there's another motion today pushing us to think about what would it mean to take all of the dollars that we're putting into LAHSA and actually contract them directly through the city. Something, again, I'm very open to. We still don't have a report back on what that would take for us and how much staff that would take, but we've not even considered or contemplated what it would take for us to do that yet. We're asked to evaluate the impacts of the county pulling out of LAHSA and what it means. Those two questions are connected, but they're also separate. We've been asked to get more from our county partners on mental health, on services, which we're, again, doing both through the Alliance settlement and through the MDTs, and coordinating those MDTs and trying to get more from them in terms of getting those resources. We are looking at creating our own COC. We're assessing the loss of funding, and this is really urgent, and this is going to impact every single person in this room, so I hope you guys know it's happening. The loss of funding for thousands of time-limited subsidy vouchers and thousands of emergency housing vouchers, both of which are sunsetting now through the end of 2026. That's about 5,000 people who are currently housed through funding from our system who we have to figure out another place for, or they'll end up back on the streets. So this is like just what I'm remembering from what we're doing from the homeless services system right now, and all of it feels hyper urgent. And we have like 12 people across the city who are working on all of these issues, who will also be asked to work on these issues. And they prioritize this report back over some of these other things, some of which feel very urgent to me. Actually, all of them feel pretty urgent to me. And so I would just request, I would echo Councilmember Lee's kind of timeline and just say, again, I have no problem with moving forward on this. I was happy to co-present the motion with you. I want to see us be as transparent and accountable to the public as possible. But we are deeply understaffed on this issue, especially given the scale of the spending that we're doing. And I am worried about 45 days is if we have a meeting twice a month, it's 2 meetings to get through all of the agenda items that we need to get through in order to get to a place where at 45 days we can say we can end this emergency and it's not going to impact anything except for the better. And so that would be my response here, is just to say, can we give this a little bit more time, just so that the system can respond with the responsibility that this is asking us to take on, and the amount of work that we have ahead of us that all feels you know, a little bit overwhelming for the city to be taking on within a very short timeline. So I would just underscore Councilmember Lee's request for 90 days here, because I want to do this. I think it's important for us to do this. It's just a lot happening right now, all at once, with very little staff time and resources, and I don't want us to be having the same conversation in 45 days.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you. So I appreciate the spirit and the effort that Mr. McCosker has brought forward with this amendment, and I was happy to second that. There's a reason why I've continued to be a no vote on the extension of the emergency order, because what is fundamentally at the biggest problem that we're facing right now is the lack of accountability and transparency with all the contracting. What the fundamental issue, so first actually I want to talk about ED1. We are the legislative branch of this government. You want to codify ED1, codify the tenets of ED1 without, frankly, having to, because it's not perfect, we're watching RSO units be decimated in exchange for it. So what's the net win? So if we want to do it, let's do it right. And we are the legislative branch that can accelerate and adopt it, working with planning to make that happen. So let's not cause a boogeyman out of ED1 jeopardizing, or excuse me, the emergency order threatening ED1 when we're the legislative branch that could advance it and adopt it in a responsible way that doesn't jeopardize losing RSO units, which we know has occurred. The HEA reports. It was my amendments that we introduced through the budgetary process when the mayor's office actually refused to provide us information on the cost of the contracts, on the cost of the services, the cost of the housing, because they're all being sole sourced. Make no mistake, the city knows how to do these contracts. The only thing the emergency order provided was the ability for the mayor's office to bypass the approval for this council and for us to have transparency and accountability. We had to fight for that through budget because that was not forthcoming. In fact, the mayor's office refused to come to Homelessness and Housing Committee and provide us the data to even let us know where these facilities existed and the cost associated with it. So make no mistake, we have all the functionality to do this in a fast pace. We can do it. But what this council has repeatedly agreed to is surrendering our authority and fiscal oversight on these contracts. And it's why I've been voting no for the greater part of a year, more than a year. How can you continue to give your authority away when there is no accountability for the expenditures that are being made of taxpayer dollars, especially in this fiscal crisis? So I appreciate now we're going to go 45 days and let's see if we can get all the responses, but let's make no mistake. And by the way, the only reason why we don't have the staffing here is because we keep outsourcing it. We keep giving the money to LASA. We keep giving the money out in contracts to all these other agencies to do this work. So we have the resources if we reprioritize it to allow the right departments to have the staffing to actually do this work. I know we have the city staff that is capable, qualified, and able to make good, judicious, and fast decisions. I've watched it happen in real time. We've done it through COVID. We've done it in a number of circumstances. We've got the talent and skills if we stop outsourcing it and we start actually having some accountability around here for how the money is being spent. So, you know, for me, renewal of this emergency declaration, that, for me, that moment passed a long time ago. And I'm happy that everyone is finally talking about, okay, let's get everything lined up so we can continue to address it with the crisis that it is. But I cannot allow the surrendering of our authority for the fiscal oversight. The HEAs continue for the last, I pointed this out, the last HEA that came through still goes back to 2023 with zero financial disclosures around what the actual costs are associated with those contracts. And for me, giving further authority even for another 45 days doesn't stop. There's nothing in here that stops the mayor's office, and you can, and Bernita, thank you for doing it. You always do an outstanding job with your reports. I gotta give you a shout out for that. But is there anything with a 45-day extension that prohibits the mayor from engaging in new contractual obligations in sole sourcing?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. So we got 45 more days, potentially 90 more days of green lighting sole source contracts happening with no greater fiscal oversight by this body. And that is absolutely something that I cannot support. So I will support this amendment because it's a step in the right direction. It's a slow step, but nonetheless, I'll take a step forward. That's great. I support this body exercising what we were all elected to do. I support that. But I do not support the continuance of this emergency authority because it has been, frankly, I think, abused with the fact that we are getting information withheld from us. And I can't continue to support that. And I will continue to vote against this emergency order. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rodriguez. I have a couple questions on this, and I asked the city attorney to be here to answer this question with regard to contracting. You could answer them from the desk there. You know, one middle point about contracting in this city that I've observed the 10 years that I've been here is the public will say, oh, the council slows things up. Going through the democratic process slows things up. When you actually analyze what happens with contracts, at least the ones that we track closely, they spend the most time in the city attorney's office. Actually, when they come to committee, they literally can be voted on the next day. So I'm just curious, what difference does the emergency order make in how the city attorney's office engages in contracting, and what difference would taking it away make, if any?
Hi, sir. Michael Dundas, City Attorney's Office. For the most part, unless the city attorney itself is contracting for services, like for our own court transcribers, things like that, it's the department that prepares the contract. And so the extended period of time to get to the point where it's ready for our office to review and then to be transmitted if needed under the municipal code or the admin code to city council for consideration is when it's in the departments, because they're the ones that normally would have to comply with the competitive processes that are required under the charter. So the acceleration of time under an emergency declaration, whether it was the pandemic or this homelessness emergency, there's an exemption in the charter for periods of declared emergency, which you can forego the competitive process in response to the emergency. So that RFP or mini bid or RFQ, whatever may be done, would be set aside in return for a sole source. And the balances that are, the trade-off, the policy trade-offs are considered by the department or the city council in that circumstance. So no, to answer your question, for our office, there is no difference whether there's an emergency declaration or not. We review the contract on its four corners and we would process it.
And so under the emergency order, you're still reviewing the contracts?
Yes.
And the thing that shortens the time is the time that you have to put out to wait for competitive bids?
The time it takes the departments to do that, yeah.
Got it. And so if we were to end it today, we'd have to, is it your let me ask it this way. Is there a way we could end the emergency and still truncate the time that we lose waiting for people to respond to an RFP?
To the extent that the departments commit the resources to focusing on those contracts in lieu of the other ones that they may be dealing with for other services unrelated to the homeless emergency, then they could presumably, and I don't want to speak for them, accelerate that timeline, even absent the emergency declaration. But they would still be following competitive processes for the most part, unless there was some other sole source justification.
And so you believe there's a way to do competitive contracting as fast as you do sole source contracting?
I wouldn't suggest that. I don't want to speak for the departments who would be engaging in these contracts, whether it's the housing department or the city clerk's office or the other entities, public works that have been dealing with contracts during this emergency.
And then another question about contracts. When a sole source contract is entered into either outside of the emergency order or inside the emergency order, is that contract public? So if somebody calls you and says, we want to see a copy of this contract, does it public, or does the emergency orders prevent that some type of way?
No, all contracts that are run through the general funded departments where they're under council-controlled funding, they're all posted on the city clerk's website, whether they're sole sourced on an emergency basis or competitively bid. Every contract is public and publicly listed, and even those that aren't publicly listed are still public. You just have to make a records request to, say, the proprietary departments, for example.
So just like we got a copy of the Gibson and Dunn invoice last, or the newspaper got a copy of it, the public could get a copy of the contracts that are happening under the emergency order.
The contracts and all of the related invoices, too.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, members. We got Mr. McCosker to close, but members, I'm going to ask for a no vote on Mr. McCosker's motion. I appreciate the energy and the intent and the way it's been handled, and working with the mayor and working with the council. But I maintain that this council can, on Friday, 2 days from now, 10 days from now, 45 days from now, or 90 days from now, bring a vote on the emergency order and end it. We've had that power from the very, very beginning. And I think, like Mr. Lee, I want to give the mayor's office as much flexibility as possible so we can continue the work and get this done in a seamless way. At the same time, I appreciate what Mr. McCosker has done, because I do think we need more urgency around it, and urgency around moving off of the emergency order and getting our house in order so that we can move quickly on a regular basis and with regular order. But again, we absolutely have the ability to vote on this at any time. Again, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, Friday, we could vote on it. And so I'm not offering that we're going to vote on it on Friday, Mr. McCosker, but
I recognize that, actually. That would be
but
one of my points. So, thank you.
Hold on. I'll call on you when I'm done. And just to confirm with the clerk, I just want to confirm that what I'm saying is not political hyperbole. We literally can end it on any day, right? City attorney or CLA.
I believe you can. The ad code states that it can be renewed every 90 days. It does not state when it can be terminated. So my reading of it, but I'm not the lawyer here.
Well, we have a lawyer right behind you.
Would say that the council at any time could bring it in for termination.
Yeah, I would agree with Sharon. I just add some specificity. Under subsection E, the renewal it would last for 90 days. It would terminate on its own after 90 days. So the renewal lasts for 90 days, but under subsection F, upon review of the reports that have been requested by the council can act independently of those 90 days to terminate it at any time.
So, okay. So we have the ability to do this, members, and I'd ask that we maintain the flexibility of this council and, the council in the future to take up this matter and to take up our business as we see fit. When, and I cannot emphasize this enough, when we are sure this is not going to set us back. Because I was on this council before there was an emergency order, when we were in regular order. And let me just tell you, as frustrating as it is to give up our authority to approve contracts and that, I was here when we approved every contract. And we were in a materially different place, and the city was not moving towards ending homelessness. That has changed. The material conditions have changed. We're in a much better place now. I think we're in a place where we can talk about ending it, but I want to do that in a way that gives this council and the mayor's office as much flexibility as we can possibly have. Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you. First, Mr. President, I apologize for interrupting you. My apologies. So I love this debate. This is a great discussion. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's what should happen in not just the legislative body, but the governing body of the city. City Council is the governing body of the city. And the question on contracts, which is an important question, is sort of an illustration writ small of the bigger issue, the issue that we're addressing today. The difference between the emergency order and contracting sole source and contracting sole source under regular provisions is on the other side of that rail. We do stuff publicly. You don't know, one doesn't know to ask for a contract when it is done sole source under emergency order. Is it public document? Yes. Among the hundreds of thousands of documents that we generate every week. If we do it publicly, now we are giving dignity to the people we represent and saying, we're about to go sole source on something and you can ask the question. And you don't have to accidentally bump into it doing a mega search of all of the records in the city of Los Angeles. Is there a role for emergencies? Yes, yes, absolutely. Can an emergency go on forever? No, absolutely not. It is antithetical to our democratic process. It is certainly antithetical to the city council being the governing body of the city of Los Angeles and being the legislative body. Now, we've just heard a call for a no vote on this motion, on these amendments. There are 3 bullets, and they all 3 have great import. The first bullet says 45 days. I've heard it, people want it to be 90. I'll come to that in a second. The second bullet says that we need to continue to get these reports and get the reports back on the second half of the motion so that we can make a smooth transition, whether this thing ends today or Friday or tomorrow or 45 days or 90 days. And that's important. So I'm going to urge that we don't throw that away. The third bullet goes to this secret government issue to make sure that we don't have exactly what was described, that it can be ended on Friday, it can be ended on Wednesday, it can be ended on a week from Friday. That's not fair to the public. This is an open and public meeting, and I think we need to commit ourselves to the work. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying in 45 days we're going to come back and have this discussion, because this is a great discussion. This is an important discussion. And if we come back in 45 days and we're not done and we have the discussion again, guess what we've just done? We've had an open and public meeting about an issue that is the most critical issue to our public. And to say that we can do this anytime if I just pop it onto an agenda, that, my friends, is offensive. That, my friends, is not what we were elected to do. All I'm saying, I got a question asked of me, will you please continue this item so that we can meet and talk to one another about how to end it? Stupid me, I said yes. And guess what? That wasn't really the question. Apparently the question actually was, will you just approve this thing and we'll move on and pretend like it didn't happen? Members, we're the governing body of the city of Los Angeles, and we are facing the greatest existential challenge to our public as possible. Is 45 days fast? Yeah, it's really hella fast. Does that mean that we only get 1 or 2 meetings in? Maybe. Is there a better number? Maybe there's a better number, I don't know. But what is wrong with being back in 45 days to talk about this issue? Is there something more important we're going to be talking about? So, members, I say we lean in. I think it is absolutely critically important that we pick a date that we come back and not say, hey, we're going to play whack-a-mole and maybe we'll show up one day and maybe we won't show up one day. I think the public deserves that. I think it's absolutely critically important that we say we want to get the rest of the reports, we want to get it all in, we want to come up with a plan. I think it's critically important that we work closely with the mayor, who is doing a fantastic job and working like endlessly on this issue, and say, how do we work together to make sure we wind this down? Because I guarantee you that the emergency order will not last forever. It's not a question of whether it's going to end. It's going to end. Will it end in a competent way? Will it end on a day where it just pops up on the agenda? Will it end with fewer discussions or more discussions? I vote for more discussions. So members, I'm going to ask for an aye vote on this amendment. And I can't imagine why there would be a no vote. Someone's going to have to articulate why we would say no, we don't want it to end someday, or no, we don't want to come back in 45 days and talk about it, or no, we don't want to talk to the public about it. A no vote on this amendment, and I'm sorry to be so black and white, but someone's going to have to articulate an argument why a no vote makes sense. Because it is a no vote to discussing this issue in public in front of folks. So I'm going to urge an aye vote.
Councilmember Rahman.
So I just want to be clear, I don't want a no vote on the amendment. Like, I have no problem with these steps. Absolutely not. All I'm asking for is I think we can get to a place where both of what you are saying can be accommodated in this timeline, but also takes into account the limited capacity of the city. 45 days, I know the city can move fast. I have a lot of faith in city departments, and I want us to do more of this work in-house. That's part of why I pushed for the creation of a place in the city where we're actually taking ownership over the work, and I thank many of you for your support in pushing that forward. What I don't want is to have the same conversation in 45 days, or a very similar one, because we just haven't made any progress on it. So if we could just get to a point where we just get a little bit more time for the departments to do the work, to figure out the contracting, to make sure that we're not leaving anything behind, dotting our I's and crossing our T's. That's really all I'm saying here. Like, we can do this work. I think there is actually, the report for me clarified that there is actually less impacted by this than I had feared. And I think we're fully capable of taking that on. But we also really do have only a handful of staff in the city who are working on these issues. And there are things that will lead to people losing their vouchers, losing their homes, that we also do need to work on, multiple meetings that people are attending at the county. Like, if we could just get to a number that makes a little bit more sense for us, and Councilmember Lee said 90 days, I'm fine with that. I think we can actually get to a point where we can end this emergency and have done it in the most responsible way. And I think we can agree with both of these goals and outcomes, because I think they are really important. This is obviously work I believe in. And again, I have absolutely no problem with this at all, at all. It's really not my, but we just got this report, the first phase of this report, just a few days ago, and we will need to get the second phase and also to take action on the basis of that second phase. So again, this is not to undermine the very good points you're making, Councilmember McCosker. I want to have more of these conversations out in the open. I want to have more of our information, data, oversight, all of that. I want to make that publicly available. That's part of the work that I've been leading on and pushing on. So this is transparency, accountability, better performance, fiscal responsibility. These are all things that I think that we can do and we are doing more of, and I'm really proud of that. I just want us to be realistic about our city's capacity, given how few staff members we have. And yes, Councilmember Rodriguez, we need to hire more. I agree with you. This is, again, none of this is going against anything of what y'all are saying. It's just like we are limited. We're very limited. And I want to be able to do the work, and I want to be able to do it right. And we have a responsibility to the public for that too. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So that's all I would ask. And if we can just come to a resolution where we can find a number that works for everybody, let's just do that and move forward with it.
Mr. Soto Martinez.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'd just like to call a question on this item, please.
All right, the question has been called. Madam Clerk.
speak before the question's called? So I'll ask, I'll ask
Mr.
for a
City
no vote
Attorney?
I'll ask for a no vote on the question.
So the question has been called. It is not debatable. It does, I believe, require a second, and I don't believe everybody's spoken twice yet, so the threshold will be 10. So if you would like to continue this conversation, then vote no against the motion to call the question, but it will require 10 votes unless and until everybody has the opportunity to speak twice or people waive their opportunity to speak twice.
All right, let's open the roll,
I'm asking for a no.
close the roll, tabulate the vote.
We're asking, we're voting on
We're,
the call the question.
we're voting on whether to vote now or to keep talking. Yeah.
So if you, just to clarify, so we're all on the same page, if you, yes. So when we say there's a vote to call the question, it means if you want to allow members to continue speaking to this, then vote no. In doing so, it will allow this body to continue this conversation. If you want to end debate on this now and immediately force a vote on this, then vote yes on Councilmember Soto Martinez's motion to call the question. It requires 10 votes currently to pass. And
All
was
right,
there
let's
a
open the
second?
roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
4 ayes, 10 noes.
All right, Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Thank you. Just to pick back up on what Councilwoman Rahman proposed, which was something more than 45. Can we, I don't know if Mr. McCoskey are open to something between 45 and 90, but it sounds to me like that would give a little bit more time.
I will make an amending motion, but I will insist on a second. 60 days.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. All right. We got a bunch of other speakers on the queue, but we got an amended amendment. Mr. Blumenfield. I'm sorry.
Mr. President, just to clarify, so this amendment is to change it from 45 calendar days to 65 calendar days. Is that correct?
60.
60.
60 in two places in bullet 1 and one place in bullet 3.
Okay, and that was amendment McCosker and Yaroslavsky. No, Yaroslavsky and McCosker. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Padilla.
You know, I think I'm, right before speaking, glad we reached a different number. That's probably going to get us somewhere. All I wanted to contribute was, you know, the last time that I voted to continue this, I mentioned that we were going through a lot of changes, right? As a county, as a city, just so many different emotions and different things were happening. So I thought we needed it for the consistency. But today it sounds like everyone is, and I'm excited about it, everybody is finally ready to put the pressure of getting a lot of the emotions that multiple members have put in together to really understand what the future is of everything we do with homelessness. So, you know, if this report is going to tell us that, it's telling us that the contracts will be fine, I also want to know not just contracts related to building, but also how is this, again, by the time we talk about this again, I hope that we can have a report that tells us how it's also, or won't, how it will or won't impact programming and the service providers, and everything related to making sure that if we get rid of this emergency declaration, how is it going to improve our ability to govern more meticulously within our districts? Because I'm assuming that that's the goal that we want. It is definitely something that I want, but if I don't see a report that actually spells that out, like what the difference is, then that's a problem, because the last time I voted to extend this was because, you know, I mentioned 5 years ago, you were not seeing homeless encampments consistently hit. That just wasn't happening. But now it is happening. But if we can do it, you know, more directly by releasing this emergency order, then I want to know that. But I want to be able to go to my service providers and contractors interested in coming into my district in a way that they'll know that I'll be their direct contact more than what has been the status right now. So I am going to vote that we extend, but definitely get the report back within the 60 days, as has been amended and presented.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you. I mean, at this point, we're just quibbling over days because the reality is this thing has to be renewed every 90 days. So it's coming back to us in 90 days no matter what. Mr. McCosker was saying, let's cut that in half to 45 days. Made sense to have it come back to us. 60 days is fine, but I just want us to realize, like, we're starting to dance on the head of the pin with, it's just a question of days. So 60 days is 30 days less than it would come to us at 90 days, a few more than 45. Let's just move this thing forward. And at this point, I think it's as much symbolic as it is real, because we are making a statement here as a council that we want to regularize business, and we want to get all of our house in order to be able to do that. So I support this and support the 60 days.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you. I just wanted to correct something because the idea, and I'm glad you agree to 60 days, whatever. I've waited almost 2 years now for this moment to arrive, but the reality is, guys, is that you're still enabling the contracting authority of the mayor to continue to sole source and obligate ourselves to additional contracts without any oversight. So 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, at what point are you going to be willing to finally say enough? Each HEA report continues to tell you to pound sand to your face because the data isn't fully complete. And that's the biggest part of my frustration, that it's been like this from the beginning, but we had to fight to get these reports through budget last year. So now here we are. The idea that we don't have the staff, that's nonsense. I'm just going to call out the nonsense of some of what Ms. Rahman has stated. When we direct our city and staff that this is a priority, they know how to move. If you make it a priority, it will get done. Just like if you make it a priority, ED1 can be codified. But it's been languishing for 2 years. So let's stop pretending that you don't have the authority. Let's stop pretending that you don't have the power. You have the power. Exercise it. Just as we have the power to improve the circumstances in our own districts. There's a reason why I started an RV to home pilot in my district. If I had to sit and wait for the mayor to decide my district was important, then I would get the services. I had to solve it myself. I can't wait for someone else to solve my problems. I got to solve it for my community. I'm not going to relegate my authority and my ability to serve my constituents to someone else. I was elected to do that. So I'm going to continue to exercise that authority with this no vote. I look forward to the conversations of all of the motions that I've introduced, whether it's the centralization of this work in the city, either through a department or some other means. I've introduced these motions that have not been scheduled in committee. Those conversations, there's been a foot dragging that we cannot ignore. And the paper trail is my proof. So I'm not going to continue to enable this lie that says, oh, we haven't been able to do this. Yes, we have. So everyone needs to tighten the belt and just do the work. And stop relegating it, all the authority, to one person who is basically empowered to decide who's going to get rewarded with an encampment resolution. That's basically what's been happening. And I get it. For those that have been the benefactors of it, cool. They're going to rubber stamp it. No, I'm not. I haven't been doing it for nearly 2 years. I look forward to the policy conversations finally being scheduled and not slowed and ignored in policy committee. And there's just going to be a point where, I got the receipts. We all have the receipts. Let's stop playing games. If we're serious about it, give the instruction, whether it's 45 days, 60 days, I promise you, if it's a priority for this body, you're going to have everybody showing up and facilitating this and getting the outcomes that we want. They are perfectly capable of doing it.
Mr. Blumenfield, are you sure? No? All right, good. There's nobody on the roll. Let's call the roll. Mr. McCosker.
I just want to say I do love this debate, and I think it is important for us to have these public debates. I still haven't heard any reason to vote no on the amendment, and we'll wrap it up. I'm good with 60. Let's move. I urge an aye vote.
All right.
And this matter would go to October 17th, 2025.
All right, Madam Clerk, what's before us?
Mr. President, what is before council is Amendment McCosker-Rodriguez as further amended by Councilmember Yaroslavsky and second by Councilmember McCosker, and that is for 60 days, not 45.
All right, let's open the roll on Mr. McCosker's amendment. Close the roll.
Mr. President, just for the clerks, that would be 60 days, and also to specify October 17, 2025. That would be the 60 days.
Yes, noted.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the roll again. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
7 ayes, 7 noes.
Congratulations, everybody.
With 7 ayes, 7 no, this amendment fails.
All right. All right, what's next, Madam Clerk?
Next would be item 45 itself.
Mr. McCosker?
Can I ask that we send the amendment to the committee?
Excellent.
And so we do it in open and public and not have this pop up somewhere when no one's looking. Thanks.
All right, without objection, thank you for that, Mr. McCosker. Madam Clerk?
Mr. President, what is before council now is item 45.
All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes, 1 no.
Housing and Homelessness Committee
Thank you, sir.
for the motion for 45A. Yeah. All right, Madam Clerk, what's next?
Mr. President, council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and referred. Announcements. Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Council President, I'd like to request that items 40, 41, and 42 move forthwith.
Without objection, I think that might have already happened, but without objection. All right. 40, can you say the numbers again?
40, 41, and 42.
Thank you. 40, 41, 42 forthwith. Thank you.
All right, any other announcements? Announcements, members? All right, I'll ask everybody in the chamber to rise for adjourning motions and ask if there are any adjourning motions. I see Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, today I rise to adjourn in memory of Gary Lee Washburn, a beloved husband, father, grandfather, and dedicated member of the Chatsworth community. Gary was born on January 14th, 1942 in Huntington Park, California, to William and Mary Washburn. Gary graduated from Fresno State University. He earned a graduate degree from Boston University and served our country honorably as an officer in the United States Army, attaining the rank of first lieutenant. Of all of his accomplishments, Gary was proudest of his marriage to his wife, Judy. A gifted storyteller, he loved sharing the tale of how they met while he was stationed in Atlanta. Gary was someone who was deeply engaged in public service and community life, serving as an emergency medical service commissioner for Los Angeles County, working in real estate, volunteering at his church, contributing to political causes, and serving as California Highway Patrol senior volunteer. To know Gary was to love him. And on July 14, 2025, Gary passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by his 3 children. He is survived by his brother Bill, his children Bob, Sue, and Kim, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. He was preceded in death by his wife Judy, his parents, and his brother Bob and Jim. Gary Lee Washburn lived a life anchored in love, service, and connection. His legacy will be felt in the many communities he served and the countless lives he touched. May his memory be a blessing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. Any other adjourning motions? Seeing none, we are adjourned. See you on Friday.
downtown Los Angeles. We are here for June Jubilee, a celebration of Black excellence. I want to lift up our incredible staff who have done such a great job to put together this event as they have made the program happen in July this year. It's extra special, and we're looking forward to many, many Angelinos coming to Central Library to explore all that we have to offer.
It's important that the library celebrates all cultures, and it does a great job of doing that. And I think here at June Jubilee, you'll find displays like Karen Collins, whose African American Museum of Miniatures shows the history of African American culture. You'll find performances like Jametta Rose and the Voices of Creation, who are bringing joy and happiness and unity to the people of LA. We're here to celebrate Black culture, Black excellence. We started off the day with a libation and a drum ceremony. There's lots more to see, including author presentations, craft activities for people of all ages.
We're going to have the Afro-American quilters, which are going to be on the second floor rotunda. When you walk up on that floor, it's just going to be an amazing sight to witness all of the African-American quilted stories that these women have put together. We are also going to have an amazing Emmy-nominated documentary, Black Barbie. It's going to be happening in the Mark Taper, as well as a discussion panel.
La ciudad de Los Ángeles es una ciudad diversa, es una ciudad de inmigrantes, es una ciudad de personas que se ven diferente, hablan diferentes idiomas, y qué bonito es poder todos nosotros estar juntos, celebrar nuestras diferencias de culturas, de idioma, de cómo nos vemos, y estar todos juntos aprendiendo los unos a los otros de nuestras culturas.
For our community, all of you who are here and will be going through these doors shortly, this is your day, and don't forget, this is your library. It's not my library, it's not the commission's library, it's not just the mayor's library, it is your library, and that's why we're here and we exist for you. Not just at Central Library, but all of our branches throughout this amazing city of angels. To all of you, welcome to June Jubilee. It's going to be a great day. Thank you so much.
Young players stepped up to the plate at a citywide tournament. LA City's Rec and Parks softball and baseball tournament brought 4 neighborhoods to the field, bringing out the best in competition and community pride.
We are excited to host the citywide baseball and softball tournaments today. We have 4 regions represented. That means players from all over the city coming from our recreation centers to compete for a citywide title.
This is extremely important for the kids because it's not every day they get an opportunity like this to play on a nice field like this for the championship for the city. It's a big deal for our community. You know, the parents are very dedicated, a lot of practice throughout the week, and they're able to get somewhere here to the championship, so something that they're going to remember for a long time. It's really positive for them.
We're hosting the baseball softball tournament right now, but we do have year-round sports. You can find out information at laparks.org, where we have 4 different seasons of baseball, basketball, softball, flag football, soccer, and we're increasing and adding programs in new sports at all times because we're also part of the Olympic initiative. So we're trying to make sure that we give opportunities for youngsters to get exposed to new sports and have an opportunity to try out and play things that are new for them.
The kids are able to exercise, to take out all their energy. They play for their parks, they make friends, and this is the culmination of what we have going on for the past 3 months. What it brings to the kids is self-confidence, self-esteem, community pride. We're giving them an opportunity that they're never going to forget.
It is an area of South LA where we want to make sure that we have a lot of alternative actions for young people to participate in and to foster a great path for them when they make choices about what they're going to do with their time. We're here to support that, give them activities to belong to, and we have this happening throughout the city, not just in South LA. So we're happy to always provide that year-round.
That program is a home run for Rec and Parks, and there are many more sports detailed on their website. In this week's feature story, gratitude is the theme of the 2025 Nisei Week Japanese Festival in LA's Little Tokyo. honoring the legacy of the district has never been more important, and the cultural celebrations kicked off with the Nisei Week Grand Parade.
We're kicking off Nisei Week here in Little Tokyo, celebrating our Japanese American community. The theme for this year is Kancha, which is gratitude.
It's just a celebration of all the Japanese Americans who have been in LA over 100 years, actually. And it's just a reminder of all the things that we need to cherish about this place and about our culture.
A lot of people in Los Angeles are not aware of this event. It's actually every year.
You don't ever want to lose your cultural heritage. It's important to keep that identity. And so this event helps to reinforce that on a regular basis.
It's important to have these parades in large part because it's a way for people to learn more about the culture and to be appreciative and in tune with what the community wants, right? It's important to lead from community, and that's what the Japanese American heritage and Nisei Week is all about.
Yeah, it's a great way to support the Japanese community here in Los Angeles.
It's important for representation. I think that kind of the state of our country right now, I think having this representation to showcase like inclusivity and that we care about our community, it helps to bring people and community together.
Celebrating diversity, definitely.
Yes, for sure. That's why we're here.
Living in such a diverse city, we're so lucky to have all of these wonderful cultures around us that we can experience, and I think coming to events like these, you really get to feel, the things you don't get to see in your everyday life.
So I'm excited to see all the Nisei queens and princesses.
I'm really excited to see the winners from the beauty pageant. They're my favorite part of the parade.
We went to Tokyo earlier this year, and being in Little Tokyo is just like a little snippet of actually being in Tokyo.
I've been coming to Little Tokyo since 1968, I guess. It's changed greatly, but it's still really as far as I'm concerned, the heart of Los Angeles and the jewel of Los Angeles, and I feel very privileged to be a part of this.
LA is a melting pot, and so to have our vibrant communities represented, especially in these times where we've been devastated by immigration ICE raids, now more than ever, just so excited to be here to celebrate the diversity, which is the strength of our city.
I am so happy that the people from Los Angeles, they do appreciate this event.
In this week's Things to Do, keep LA beautiful at the 7th Annual Beautification Conference. Learn more about our coastline at Cabrillo, and enjoy a special edition of Back to School Venice. All this up next on Things to Do.
On Saturday, August 23rd, the Board of Public Works and the Office of Community Beautification presents the 7th Annual Beautification Conference, celebrating people, purpose, presence. Connect with fellow Angelinos to share stories, learn how to get involved, host your own community cleanup, and discover all that local partners and city agencies have to offer. There will be over 30 exhibitors at the Community Resource Expo, and the conference will cover community engagement, volunteering, the My LA 311 system, and Composting 101. Head to the Lincoln Heights Senior Center for the 7th Annual Beautification Conference on Saturday, August 23rd, beginning at 10 a.m. Find out more under the Keep LA Beautiful tab at laocb.org. Enjoy a guided walk with the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium educators on Saturday, August 23rd, when they will be interpreting the various habitats of the